Broadcast is a little bit earlier at 3 p.m. Central Time. You're not going to want to miss it because there's $100,000 on the line. Let's take a look at that pricing. This is all in the grand finals, of course, but if you get there, you're at least walking away with something. Even if you get last, you're walking away with a little bit of cash from making it to the grand finals because it was such a hard journey to get there. But the first place team will walk away with $31,000 and that Samsung Galaxy bundle, which of course includes the Galaxy Z Fold 5 I've already talked about, as well as the Tab S9 Plus, Buds 2 Pro, and a trip to the World Finals. So talk about a fantastic day. Talk about a fantastic grand finals. Again, you saw it there, September 30th, 3 p.m. Central. You're going to want to be here. It's going to be incredible. Now, I can't do all of this on my own. I've been here several times now hosting all of the shows, but it's time to bring in our casters for the day, our creators that have had a chance to not only play some Clash Royale on their Galaxy Z Fold 5s, but they got a chance to cast all the action. Gentlemen, say hello. Let's start with you, OJ. How are you feeling to be here in the booth for the Samsung Galaxy Superverse Clash Royale Finals?
I'm excited for everything that's about to unfold. I've been waiting for this event. First, we had all the other games. Now we're on to the real the finals of this. It's going to be really exciting. I'm going to be scoping out which players that I want on my team, if I can even decide.
Yeah, well, look, that's the fun part, right? Because you're scoping out competition. You're going to be paired with some of the players from the Brawl Stars and from the Clash of Clans qualifiers. It's going to be super, super cool, and I think it's going to be a really tight competition. Speaking of competition, we got Juicy J in the house. Now, Juicy, I know you have some experience here in the caster booth. I was watching some of those VODs back. How are you feeling to be here and watch some of this competition?
I'm feeling fantastic. You guys know me. I love watching some great Clash Royale. I can't wait, especially to see Air Surfer's gameplay. I've met him before. He's a great friend, and he made it to the CRL World Finals this year. So I think that's going to be the competition to really look out for today.
That's a great shot. I'm excited to talk about some of the players that made it through those crazy qualifiers. But SirTag, how are you feeling? Because I know you've got some incredible content out there on the timeline and on the YouTubes. But talk to me about what you're feeling going into these qualifier finals. Oh, don't worry. We got Tag right on the time. I hear him in my ears. We're going to get him all set up for you. But Tag's excited. He was telling me he's really pumped to be here. And I think he's going to make some banger YouTube content with this tournament as well. Clash with Shane, Mr. Shane himself. I'm excited to have you here. Talk to me a little bit how you're feeling. Because we were talking a little bit before the broadcast. I know you're scoping out your competition, but you're also trying to learn some things.
Yeah, well, first of all, it's an honor to be here. Very, very happy to take part in this event. But like you said, I'm here to not only witness some great Clash Royale gameplay, but also hopefully learn a few tips and tricks myself that I can use next week during the grand finals.
There you go. We're going to be learning. We're going to be teaching. We're going to be talking. Now, gentlemen, we got everybody here. Tag, I think we got Tag.
Does this work?
Do we have... We got Tag on the timeline. There he is. Cool, Tag, cool. I'll give you a quick second, Tag. Tell the people at home. I heard you, but tell the people at home how you're feeling.
My microphone isn't working, but I know this event is going to be hype. So I'm hyped for some quality Clash and excited to see some of the best players in the world compete. There's going to be a lot to learn, and also, we're going to be learning all their tricks. So when I get to play against them, I already know what they're going to be doing.
There you go. Now we're thinking with our big brain mode. Now, all right, look, folks, I know we got some watch parties that are going on. So a couple of you are going to be heading out. Juicy J, SirTag, I hope you enjoy your watch parties. I'm sure we'll see you here in the booth probably not too long. But OJ, Shane, you're hanging out with me. It's time to cast some.
Yo, what is up, guys? Hopefully everyone can hear me now. Making sure everything's all set. Hey. How you been? All right, all this should work. Think. Making sure it's all happening the right way.
I've got 16 going to 8. There he is. He's in here. 16 going to 8. Not too tall of a task. But when we talk about the format, this is what's fun about this format.
All right, guys, just making sure all this is set. This is going to be one of the most hype events in the history of Clash. $100,000, so it's going to be pretty big. Going to make sure everything is all set before we start rolling.
Pretty straightforward.
So,
I think it's going to be a very exciting match. We've been waiting for the finals, and it's here.
Yeah.
All
that's
right, cool.
exactly
We're
right.
all
I
set,
think a
guys. We're
straightforward
all set.
format. There's not really
And
a order in front of us.
essentially, this
All
entire
the
event is going to be
competition
Clash
is a
Royale.
tall order,
Before
right?
it
We
was
have
Brawl
some
Stars and
incredible
Clash of
players here
Clans.
today.
This
Many
is the
of them
third
known and
part.
have been played
Clash
in
Royale
Clash
is
Royale
going
for
to be
years now.
a whole bunch
They're
of pro
noted. So
players
speaking
coming
of those
together to
players,
see
let's
if
take a look
they
at
can
them.
start to
Ian
qualify for one of
77,
the
of course,
biggest
pops out
events
to
in the
me
world.
first, but,
So hopefully you
Shane,
guys are
any
ready.
other names
Woohoo!
that
Yeah,
you
dude.
know and love?
Turn tag through. We did throw a little bit. My
Apple as
microphone
well?
didn't work, which is kind of unfortunate, but we're vibing. All the CR goats are here. Yeah. No, we chilling. I'm excited to take a look at like what everyone's gonna be running and what the decks are from the highest levels of play. Sugar Frenzy is my favorite person to watch just because he plays the Royal Recruits deck that I like. And I'll move my camera so you guys can see everyone. But Sugar Frenzy is like the top Royal Recruits player in the game. Cheesecake is really good with Royal Hogs. Ian is amazing at Hog Rider. Hitori is one of the best minor players in the entire game. Luminari is like a great mortar minor player with a whole bunch of bait cards that he typically runs. And then Dr. Puerto Rico runs the one Royal Recruits deck with Dark Goblin and Skeleton Barrel and really annoying cards. And then Darian is one of my best friends actually, and he's phenomenal at a variety of different decks. Giant Double Minions was his OG deck. I don't think he's going to be playing that. I bet he's going to be playing a lot of other better decks. Ian might sweep, not gonna lie, maybe. What do you guys think? You guys let me know. Hey, this looks exciting. When is it gonna start? It's gonna start really soon, so it's gonna start pretty much immediately. So other things, huge shout out to Samsung Galaxy for sponsoring today's stream and entire thing. Like without them, this would definitely not be possible. A huge shout out to them for that. Also, if you guys didn't know, the Samsung Galaxy Z Fold 5 has got the ability to play on 3 different apps at once. It has the ability to open and close, pretty OP. And then also on top of that, it's got like the biggest screen that you guys can get from a phone. So if you guys like tablets, you'll probably love the fact that this can be a tablet and a phone at the same time. So this huge shout out to Samsung Galaxy for sponsoring the Superverse and allowing this $100,000 prize pool tournament to go on. Massive W. Yo, it's 3 a.m. in the morning. Yeah, dude, we're gonna be streaming for a minute. Do your editors use Premiere Pro or DaVinci? I recommend DaVinci for everyone that isn't going to be using like. I would recommend DaVinci to everyone that is going to be like starting off editing, and then as you get a bit better at it, and as you start to progress, you can still use DaVinci. Premiere Pro is easier to use because there's a lot of different content on it online, so you can like learn things a lot easier and quicker using it. But DaVinci is free, so there's really no reason not to use it, unless you just want to go and like feel like, hey, no matter what I do, it's gonna be fine because it doesn't matter if I burn money, that type of thing. If you don't care about that, then you can just go use DaVinci. Or sorry, you can use Premiere Pro. Sony Vegas is what I used a lot, just because it's faster to edit. But now it's just Vegas. What do you think about the best Inferno Dragon deck? Ooh, best Inferno Dragon deck would have to be like a Lobhound deck. Lobhound for sure. Lobhound like minor, that's pretty overpowered.
Know who they are. That means they know who each other are too, right? So you know what this person specializes in. You can try to counter against them. Shane, any other?
It's actually it's pretty busted how Inferno Dragon like can just go and melt massive tanks and then still be behind a Lobhound, and then after the Lobhound dies, then you can tank for it again with a minor. Pretty cool. All right, so we're watching Ian77 versus George. Let's see how this goes.
Going in with the Ice Spirit Log. Do you think he's running Hog EQ right now?
So Ian looks like he's either running Hog Rider or if he's running Royal Hogs. We'll have to wait and see which one it's gonna be. Are you planning to play? Yeah. We're planning. We are definitely playing in the second stage of this. So that'll be fun. Bro's gonna win. Jake get the dub. Yeah. I'm an editor by trade. I really like DaVinci for color, but Premiere for basic editing, says Jack Starheart. Thanks for the feedback on that. It's nice. Get the other people's feedback on that too. Ramelli deck everywhere. We'll have to wait and see if that's gonna be the case, man. Ramelli's probably not gonna be played that much. It's one of those decks that's extremely good, but it's very predictable. Oh my gosh! Wait, this is a Recruits 3 Musketeer deck from George. Recruits 3 Musketeers. Has to be Recruits 3 Musketeers. Minor Poison from Ian. I wonder if he's going to be just running like Like, usually this deck has Executioner and Bomb Tower. Instead of Executioner, he's running, like, Archer Queen. I think he's going to have Bomb Tower in there for sure. Ian's got a Bomb Tower in the deck. And then he'll probably also end up having... Yeah, there's the Bomb Tower as expected. Knew it. And then, last card could be Wall Breakers, if you wanted. Or it could be Knight. It could be Knight, or it's going to be Knight or Valkyrie or another support card. Oh, dude, Ian just took so much damage. Oh my gosh. Yo, Jake, I commented on your video earlier today. I was going to ask again, could you make a Evo Firecracker deck after the nerf? Yeah, I have a whole bunch of them. I have some Evo Firecracker decks coming up. Definitely stay tuned for that. It's a fun card to play. It works really well with Goblin Drill. So I made a couple videos with Goblin Drill. And
I love how we just said that, like, oh, Ian's got the advantage.
Hey, what's up, Hi? What's up, man?
2,000 damage on this tower.
Wait, he's gonna have Evo Barbs? What? Ian, you wild child. So, I mean, Evo Barbs are a great choice to play, but I thought he was definitely going to be running like a more of a supportive card to the Archer Queen, like a Valkyrie or a Knight. Oh, it makes sense that you didn't want to drop it. It costs 5 elixir. Yikes. I thought he was going to have a 3 elixir Knight there, guys.
There's no evolve rule recruits, so it's just...
I mean, Ian's still in a really good spot because Evo Barbs are super hard to counter. Like, watch this Bandit and then the Hunter. It's going to not do very well. It's really not doing so well against Evo Barb. So, Ian's in a good spot. Ian's in a pretty good spot. George counters, but I still believe in Ian's skill. I don't know if Ian can stop this because all George needs to do is play evenly right now, get back to recruits, and then I think he rolls Ian. Ian's in a tough spot. I mean, Ian's definitely one of the best players in the world, so if he wins this, I'd be really impressed. Oh, that Archer Queen, though. It's going to go invisible. It's going to lock on the tower. Oh, George had Rage. I should have seen that coming. Of course, like, the last card not being shown is pretty big. Ian will win because I'm biased. I like Ian a lot, man. I don't know George, so I'm kind of rooting for Ian. I want Ian to win. But I'm also, you know, if I'm friends with someone, I'm always going to be rooting for them. Evolutions are harder to get as free to play. Yeah, sometimes, man. It depends on the situation. Sometimes they add a whole bunch of challenges like they did when they first came out to be really easy to get evolutions. Maybe they'll do that again. Wait, so 3 Musketeers are constantly getting dropped? So then there's no ability of anyone, like, making pushes. Like, Ian can't make pushes unless it's a miner on the tower because the Evo Barbs are not going to be able to break through because there's always recruits or there's 3 Musketeers. Oh, wait, that Archer Queen, though. Okay, Archer Queen does not lock onto the tower. But that Archer Queen is doing so much damage. I think, I mean, all it takes is 1 recruit to lock onto the tower. Like, if that recruit didn't go towards the bomb tower and it randomly went towards the tower, the game would be over. It's pretty insane. I think Ian's got it, though, now, actually, because it's at 500, 300 HP. It's so low. Ian just needs to get 1 more good miner poison, he wins. So he's focusing everything he has on defense because he knows if he can defend this, then he will miner poison to win. Ian's going to win. He's going to miner poison the right. That's it. That was such a close game. There's no way he blocks it. He's got a Royal Ghost. It doesn't block it. Well played. Ian, that was so good. I thought Ian was screwed. Honestly, I was worried because recruits for me, whenever I play against the Evolution, because they're so new, they always rush towards my tower. When I play Bomb Tower, it's like, it's good if I have Skeletons or Ice Spirit and then like a Knight, but the Barbs are 5 elixir, so it's hard to manage that correctly. Let me know in the chat, who are you guys rooting for? Who are you rooting for?
But once he got his rotation going,
how was Ian supposed to break through there? Just miner poisons on the tower. That was the only way. It was a really long and hard fought battle because of that. It was well played. It was well played. Who do you think's gonna win? Well, I didn't think Ian was gonna win, and then he did it. So I think Ian's in a good spot after he's up 1 game. He is definitely one of the best players in the world. So it is pretty impressive that he's doing so well. I'm rooting for Ian for sure. Yeah, dude, you gotta root for the people you like. You know, you gotta root for your friends. Sometimes, like for me, even though I'm rooting for my friends, sometimes I'll be like, unsure if it will work out for them because I don't want to curse them either. I don't want to be like, oh, he's definitely got this. Usually when I say that, the person loses. So that's pretty funny. Ian, because the goated name. Yeah.
Magic Archer would have pierced onto the tower.
All right, so
That
we're looking at it real quick, and Royal Delivery from Ian with Goblin Drill. I guess Ian just wanted to run the safest decks he possibly could. From what I'm seeing with Ian right now, he's literally showcasing that he just was like, I'm the better player. I'm going to outplay you. I'm going to win through skill. That's what he's doing. He's running like the safest decks possible. He put Evo Barbarians in the last deck because he didn't feel like Bomb Tower was enough to counter like cheesy strategies. And now he's running like Royal Delivery Tornado Inferno Tower with Evolved Knight. Like, how do you even break through that? I mean, if you're running Graveyard, then Ian would have a bad matchup for sure. The Tornado and the Royal Delivery do nothing. But in a matchup where he's playing against a beatdown deck with a Goblin Giant and a Sparky, Ian's in a really, really good spot. If he didn't have Royal Delivery, he would actually have a pretty bad matchup. It's crazy how like a 1-card difference, like that 1 card can make such a big deal. The drastic difference. The delivery is able to stop the Sparky, whereas there wouldn't be that many distractions for Ian. Like, he can't reset the Sparky with anything really. Like, I guess you can use the Evolved Knight to tank, but that's about it.
He's still getting damage down.
Magic Archer is going to get 3 shots on that. 3? Yep. I play this game way too much. The fact that I knew I was going to get 3, I was like, I can sense that mini P.E.K.K.'s health.
He can just defend those Evolved Barbarians.
So right now, I'm pretty sure Ian just goes for drill and then just continuously spams like Spear Goblins or Wall Breakers on top of the Sparky while the Inferno Tower melts the Goblin Giant. So if I was Ian, that's what I would do, and I know he's better than me, so he's probably going to keep doing that. Magic Archer is going to line up to the barbs. Oh my gosh. That Magic Archer, it didn't even take it. Huh. That was crazy. Yeah, Ian just played so safe. There's nothing you can really do there.
Played games from Ian. I think he played those almost perfect. That matchup, looking back.
How'd you know I was going to get 3? I've played the game too much. I could recognize the mini P.E.K.K.'s health.
Definitely has a chance with all the spam.
Yeah, Ian just played super safe. Really good decks.
Gentlemen, that was a quick one. I gotta say, Ian77 made quick work of Jorge. And
Thoughts on Goblin Drill? Oh, Goblin Drill is a pretty bad card right now. I'm not gonna sugarcoat it. So in duels, this entire format, Ian has to pick different cards. He can't play Miner again, so that's why he chose Goblin Drill.
Game 1, I don't think Ian. I was looking back. I don't think he missed.
Magic Archer 2 OP. Yeah, dude. Imagine Magic Archer getting like 4 nerfs. Top tier gameplay is always crazy. Yeah. I mean, because he can't repeat the same card, he decided to run a Goblin Drill instead of the Miner, so pretty much the reason why. Miner Poison or the top 1 skill deck? I mean, the decks that you're going to see right now today are going to be good, unique decks. They're not necessarily going to be, like, if Ian was playing against someone that he deemed to be his same skill level or whatever, if he was, like, trying to push for ladder, he would be running different decks. He wouldn't be running those exact decks. Those are dual decks. They're, like, safe decks. He's like, I need to be prepared against anything type of deck. Yo, I always lose versus that Goblin Giant deck. Oh, yeah, I feel you.
Initially, when I was looking at it, I thought, hey, it can go either way. But looking back at it and how
thoughts on Mega Knight being seen more at top ladder, it seems unnatural. Mega Knight is not that good at top ladder right now because if you think about it, Evolved Barbarians can surround and kill the Mega Knight. Evolved Knight tanks for the Mega Knight. And it's just like, it doesn't have many good matchups right now. It, in fact, will just die to the Skeleton King, for instance. It's a hard card to make work at the highest levels of play. It's not a bad card. It just doesn't work as well. It used to work a lot with Evolved Firecracker, but since there's a lot of tank evolutions that start to counter it, it's not necessarily worth the price of 7 Elixir as much. Is Firecracker still good? It is the second worst evolution in the game right now. If you guys have any questions, you let me know. I'll let you know straight up, no BS. Currently, the worst evolution is Skeletons. Still the most fun evolution for me, though, because you can 3 crown with 1 Elixir. But, yeah, the Firecracker evolution is... Oof. It deserves a little bit of time in the limelight like it did. But I don't want to see it back where it was, because it locking onto tower and dealing 800 damage, and you wouldn't be able to stop it. It was the worst thing for the game, because you tornado, you drop the Firecracker evolution, and then you just win games as a win condition. So I'm glad that that's over. I'm happy that it's the second worst.
just cycle poisons and logs.
Can you retire with $100,000? I mean, it depends on your lifestyle, man. I don't know. I don't think so, unless you're like a prudent investor. I don't think so. It depends what country you're into. Depends. In the U.S., probably not with all the stuff that's gone on here. Do you think that you guys will, with Spears, is a good Evo? Oh, you mean the Spear Goblins? Yeah, I mean, we'll see if the Spear Goblins get a good evolution. We'll have to wait and see on that end.
If anything connects, that's hundreds of damage in your tower.
So the game 2 deck, as you guys can see, there's Spear Goblins, Ice Spirit, Royal Delivery. Again, the amazing answers to like a Goblin Giant deck is you can just drop Inferno Tower every single time. And there wasn't even a Sparky in the deck. Interestingly enough, there was no Sparky. I've never seen a Goblin Giant Wallbreaker deck in my life. I don't even know how that works. Hurts my brain.
We'll be able to chance to kind of peek behind the curtain here. We've got Clown and Katori.
What do you think about the next Evo is? I don't know, and I can't say because like if I tell you guys something that could be correct, like let's just say I say Spear Goblins. What if Supercell's like, Jake, you just leaked the evolution and it's in our chat or whatever? I'm like, bro, I didn't even know.
We're gonna be heading down this bracket. We're gonna be taking a look.
Excited to see Nate play. Interested to see what he'll use besides Miner. Probably like Royal Hogs or Miner or Goblin Drill wall breakers. I bet you he's gonna run control decks the entire time.
Juicy J said best player in the U.S.
Yeah, those were his words before the stream, and we'll have to see if it plays.
We'll see what happens. We'll see what happens right now. Let's go. Let's go.
I think everyone knows how much kill this deck.
Thoughts on Lava Loon? So Lava Loon is actually one of the best decks in the game right now by far, but it'll probably get a nerf. Also, Danny Russo, thank you for the $2 in the donation, and thanks for being here, man. Love you, buddy. But yeah, the thoughts on Lava Loon, really good right now because Evo Barbs are one of the strongest cards of the game. Skeleton Dragon's got a massive buff, so 2 cards already like top like S tier cards that it's using. And unfortunately, it'll probably get nerfed really hard in the next balance changes because Lava Hound's absolutely everywhere. So I wouldn't recommend playing Lava Hound. I wouldn't invest in learning how to play a Lava Hound deck until you see the next balance changes that come out.
All of my decks, just in case.
Sure. Yeah.
Are all these pros from Brawl Stars or Supercell games? I'm kind of lost. All the pros, everyone that you're watching right now that's going to be playing today is straight up from just, they're from Clash Royale. All the pros that you're going to be watching are Clash Royale players that play Clash Royale ladder. They do not play Brawl Stars. The other parts of the event, when you qualify for it, those are the people that are going to be having to play every game. Also, Air Surfer is one of the best players in the world. Sometimes he gets a little bit nervous on stage, but he is one of the best players in the world. I also really enjoy like talking to him. Great guy. Yeah, I can't say anything but nice things about him. What Magic Archer nerf do you want to see? I would nerf the Magic Archers. I wouldn't even nerf the Magic Archer, honestly. I would just nerf the Evo Knight, nerf Bomb Tower, maybe nerf Tornado. I don't think Magic Archers needs a nerf. It's maybe the first attack speed of it, I would nerf it so it's slightly slower, so then it doesn't get as much damage. But I mean, if it gets voted for a nerf, it's going to have more than just that. It's going to get banished. All right, so getting to the game. Air Surfer is running a Royal Delivery Wall Breakers, probably Goblin Drill or Miner. And Parsa is running a Mortar deck. It has to be Mortar from Parsa. A lot of damage on Air Surfer's left-hand tower. And the Dark Goblin's going to do like around 600. So I would say Air Surfer is in a pretty okay spot if he's able to get to later stages of the game. But in single elixir, if he gets caught in a bad card cycle, he's going to lose. So Air Surfer just needs to play super safe. Ooh, Poison for more damage from Parsa. That's an interesting card to play against Air Surfer because Air Surfer doesn't necessarily run Graveyard that much. So the Poison is just literally there to get more damage, or maybe because he didn't want to, or he couldn't fit it in a different deck. You never see Poison with Mortar decks. Usually it's Fireball, so you can eliminate cards a little bit faster. So then your Mortar or your Dark Goblin or your Cannon Cart or Skeleton King can get damage in a wider range of areas. So that's why Poison in this deck seems a little bit weird, but it's probably there just because the guy wasn't able to do anything else. Also, that was a misplay of the Mortar. He could have dropped the Mortar slightly off to the left. You can drop the Mortar to the other side to pull wall breakers. So it's weird that he did that. But I like Air Surfer's positioning right now because Air Surfer, he can probably just go in for like Miner and Goblin Drills. or sorry, Goblin Drills and Magic Archers like all day long, and he just gets one good connection, then he will win the game.
Oh, one of them always
Connects. Now, if we saw the knight in the
I don't know what he's got though. Oh, I was gonna say I don't know if he's got Bomb Tower or Tesla, but he's actually got Inferno Tower. So yeah, he's gonna have a building for sure every time. Magic Archer will be able to snipe the cannon cart from a distance. Poison's gonna have to come down on the right-hand side instead of the left, where he has the most of his damage. So he's gonna have to switch sides. Oh, wall breakers are both connecting. Wow. So Air Surfer literally has 3 win conditions. Miner, or sorry, Goblin Drill, wall breakers, and Magic Archer. So 3 different win conditions there. Really good stuff for Air Surfer. Again, I had full confidence in Air Surfer if he was able to get into the later stages of the game. The Evo Mortar is a bit obnoxious though, because it can end up just completely deleting the Magic Archer there. The bad thing that we don't know about Air Surfer's deck is we haven't seen any direct source of damage from his spell department. Okay, well, he's got Tornado, so that's his only spell in his deck that can damage the tower. That does around 70 damage to the tower there. So it's, I mean, I guess I don't know what it does at Tournament Standard, but at Max Ladder it does around 70 something. So the fact that Air Surfer can't finish off the game if Parsa keeps it around even HP, that would be really bad. Those goblins are going to spawn directly on the tower, though. Yikes. And that cannon cart's going to get Magic Archered, probably. Oh. Air Surfer knew it was too predictable of Magic Archer, so he didn't want to do it. And he forced out a Skeleton King in front.
That's causing him trouble, though.
Oh, my goodness.
All right, so Evolved Knight coming through. That's going to be able to tank for Magic Archer or Wall Breakers, whatever Air Surfer wants. Tornado kills all the bats. Both Wall Breakers connect. Oh my gosh. That's disgusting. Are you good with OJ? Yeah, I like OJ. He's a good guy. He really is.
Dude, that's insane. The Wall Breakers just like 1,000 goblins down. The Wall Breakers just like, don't mind me.
This is kind of crazy. I'm not even a fib. This is actually insane stuff.
Now let's see. You think match 2, Lava Hound's coming out?
I wish Jake would play in the finals to win 100%. Well, we are playing. We are going to be playing. We'll see how the games are against other Clash people. So Air Surfer has not shown any big spells yet, but he did use Tornado. Lumberjack and Goblins. Okay, so it's going to be a Royal Giant deck from Air Surfer and a Lava Hound deck from Parsa. So Parsa is known for Lava Hound. Air Surfer probably played the Royal Delivery Inferno Tower deck because he knew that Parsa likes Lava Hound. So he literally built a deck to counter Lava Hound, but he didn't play against Lava Hound first match. And now he doesn't have the best answers to Lava Hound right now. He's got like a Snowball Musketeer deck with an Inferno. Oh, never mind. He has Inferno Dragon. He's fine. Oh, there's a freeze! What? What are we witnessing right now? Guys, there's legitimately an Inferno Dragon versus Inferno Dragon match, which is not a very commonly played card. And Parsa's got Freeze. I forgot that he main Freeze as his main version of Lava Hound. That's funny. Oh, this is such a derpy deck. I love it. I love it. This is what happens when you watch like pro players in their element. They know how to play very specific card combinations that no one else knows. Like, I thought I remembered him as a Lava Hound player, and I was right. But I forgot that he ran Freeze. Air Surfer must be so triggered right now. Because if you think about it, if you lose a tower as a mortar deck, it's not like you've got a beatdown deck. It's not like you can spam both sides simultaneously and take 2 towers. Air Surfer has to go in the left-hand side. Because if he drops the mortar on the right, it's going to die. It's just going to straight... Oh my god, there's a mortar balloon deck. It's going to get frozen, and then it's going to die to like skeleton dragons or arrows, or maybe just takes the hit. It just takes 1 hit. It's not going to be 2. Yeah, I was right. That was good.
Wait,
See,
I just realized Air Surfer is a mortar and balloon deck. What?
I think right now...
What is this?
Air Surfer has to have a miner in the deck, right? He has to have a miner because he's saving 1 more card and he would want to... No, or does he have Freeze? He's either got Freeze or he's got miner. He's got one or the other. What do you guys think he's going to have? This kid is a mid-ladder menace? Or ladder menace. Oh, yeah. He's not mid-ladder. Parsa is always top 10 in the world. What is he going to do? He's going to have to drop a mortar on defense, so... I bet you it's a miner because he would have probably used the Freeze on defense. Oh, it's arrows. Wow. Yeah, Air Surfer has no comeback potential right now because he doesn't have anything to stop these barbarians and lava pups. And one of the barbs going to lock on tower, and that's all it is. GG. Wow, we're going to go to the third game.
I noticed the lumberjack went down at the last moment of the Cane Tower.
Yo, yo, yo.
Distracted the barbarian.
Why didn't you participate in the tournament? Because we're casting it. We're going to be participating in it later. It'll be a lot of fun. Love you too, JD. Thanks for stopping by, buddy.
Now we have the third match going.
What do you guys think so far of the games?
I wonder if this is anti-air deck.
I bet you Air Surfer right now is going to be playing his best deck.
Tesla and
everything else.
Musketeer,
Are you going to post your games in a video? Yeah, maybe. I don't know. I don't know when I'm going to be playing or what we're going to be doing.
No way that Ice Spirit
Have you ever talked to OJ? Yeah, of course. OJ and I are friends.
Do you think that's prediction?
So Air Surfer's running Skeleton's Ice Spirit. It's definitely looking like a Hog or Hog Rider, Hogs or Hog Rider Earthquake deck. I bet you it's going to be Royal Hogs. I bet you guys Archer. Oh. Well, he doesn't have Musketeer anymore, so what is he running? Firecracker? This is scary.
Monk versus Knight.
Yeah, it is a Firecracker deck. I was right. Okay, so Firecracker, Tesla, Monk. Is he running Hog Rider or Royal Hogs, guys?
Well, I like seeing, like, you know, the variety of the
If he's running Royal Hogs, he has a much better matchup. Oh, no, he doesn't. Okay, well, never mind. He was playing into Bomb Tower. He's fine.
No EQ.
I thought he would have a better matchup because I saw guard, so I was like, oh, probably going to be like a defensive building that wouldn't be Bomb Tower, but it's always Bomb Tower.
Yes, it is with the Ice Spirit.
Painter activation with the Ice Spirit, and then a Firecracker still gets another shot. Oh, that's crazy. You ready to lose to my team next weekend, says Eric from One Hive. I don't know about that one, Chief. We got it. I'm the best Clash of Clanser ever. I don't know if you know, bro. I don't know if you've seen my gameplay, but I joined a clan, so really progressed a lot further than you would expect in Clash of Clans.
See, I think the Firecracker gives
That was so funny. Dude, these games right now are extremely intense. The fact that this went to the third match is pretty hype.
He did get a lot of damage early on.
So cycling the Monk in the back gives him a 3-card cycle. So what that does is it allows him to get back to Firecrackers and Hog Riders faster than his opponent. So I would say Air Surfer actually has matchup advantage because he can go in for the Monk. He can click the Monk ability when the Bomb Tower starts to target it. And then he's in a really good spot. Oh, look at that. The Evolved Firecracker is getting protected by the Monk ability. So Air Surfer is making sure that his opponent can't log or do anything to finish off the Firecracker until the Monk ability is gone.
One shot to that tower.
Wow, that's so good. He played that so well. Very rarely do you see Monk play at high level. Usually it's just going to be like the Evolved Knight and cycling as many Evolved Knights as possible. It's cool to see some different variation in these duels.
Like, it's basically a mirror matchup at this point, but the Firecracker versus a Musketeer.
Monk to tank for everything.
Oh, dude, thank you so much, Karan. That's so nice of you, dude.
Yes.
I just play for fun. What are you exactly going to play? In an hour? We're going to be casting. I'm going to be casting on the main stage in a little bit, so you guys better be hyped for that. That's going to be awesome. Are you the only Sir in Clash Royale, bro, is knighted? Yeah, I guess so, man. All right, so the Bomb Tower placement's bad. This guy is not dropping the correct Bomb Tower placement. If you guys didn't know, Parsa dropped the Bomb Tower in a spot that the second tower, the one on the right, wasn't targeting the Hog Rider. You have to drop your Bomb Tower in the correct spot. I think the nerves are really getting to him. So Air Surfer is going to go in for a Hog Rider with this Monk every single time. He's going to click the Monk ability. It reflects back the damage back at the Musketeer and back at the tower. Look at that damage. And he Earthquakes on the Bomb Tower. The Bomb Tower again is in the wrong spot. Nerves are really showing from Parsa. He misses the log on the Hog Rider. He's such a good player. Parsa is really legitimately one of the best players in the world, as you guys saw with Lava Hound. But Air Surfer is just in his element. He's like, you don't have Lava Hound, so I can just run my Evolved Firecracker deck without very much air defense with my Monk and Earthquake, and I'm going to wreck you. And Air Surfer is just playing out of his mind. He's going to like Hog Rider right now to tank for the Muskie, and he does. That's what I would have done. Bomb Tower again in the wrong spot. Notice how the second tower is not shooting the Hog Rider. It's triggering me. Musketeer, it's always going to die to the Monk. You just click the Monk ability, and then the Musketeer is gone. Opponent can't even go in for a lock. Oh, no. Parsa. Yeah, Monk's just knocking everything back. The Earthquake will never hit the tower and the Tesla of Air Surfer because Air Surfer is dropping his Tesla in the correct spot. So if you drop your Tesla in the spot that Air Surfer is dropping, the Earthquake cannot hit the tower and hit the Tesla at the same time. So Air Surfer is forcing the opponent to pick. Do you want an Earthquake on my Tesla and break through with the Hog Rider, or do you want an Earthquake on my tower and get damage?
Very game-changing.
29 HP, the Logger Earthquake finishes the game. Very well played by Air Surfer. That was respectable. Parsa is a mischievous sir. Yeah, he is. Parsa's an amazing player, but he just wasn't playing his best deck. Unfortunately, that didn't go out as planned. You know, sometimes when you're forced to play against one of the best players in the world and you're not playing a deck you're super comfortable with, it's not going to look as good as it could be. What's the right spot for the bomb tower? Go check any of my YouTube videos on my channel, and it will show you. If I play bomb tower in any of the videos, it'll show you. Basically, you want to have the bomb tower lower than Parsa was dropping it, so both towers can shoot. If you drop your bomb tower against Hog Rider Earthquake, bomb tower costs 4 elixir, Hog Rider Earthquake is 7, and the Hog Rider Earthquake is full countered by the bomb tower if you drop your bomb tower in the correct spot.
But of course, Air Surfer ends up taking it.
Yeah, that last interaction we just saw right there with that tornado.
I can see this is why you can't choose the same twice in a row. Parsa playing 2 Hound decks. Yeah, I would have loved to see Parsa play 2 Hound decks just because he's so freaking good. You guys saw that freeze and that comeback play and that intense action. Like, Parsa played insanely well. So which of these players should I recruit for my Superverse team? Probably Ian. Probably Ian. How come you're not commentating? I'm going to be commentating later. SirTag, how can I get a girlfriend? Having a girlfriend or getting a girlfriend should not be an achievable goal that you like try to strive for. Just, you know, let it happen naturally. Try to find people that you have common interests with. If it works out, it works out. At least that's my best advice. If you struggle, if you just like stress about it too much or anything like that, it just comes across as desperate and stuff like that. Not ideal. Best place for buildings: 3 tiles to the left or 3 tiles to the right. Yeah, pretty much.
Let's take a look at the decks. I know we've been talking about.
Are you gonna play in the tournament? Yeah, later. Should I max out log bait as a free to play? Depends on the log bait deck that you want to play. There's good ones, a skeleton barrel and wall breakers right now, or regular Goblin Barrel and Evolved Knight. Those are great options. It depends. Level 15 wouldn't be bad. You couldn't pay for it. Yeah, I agree. I wish that was the case. So, girlfriend requiring leaving the house, impossible tasks is one hive. Yes. Yeah, it is an impossible task. Touching grass, going outside. Who could do that? Lots of love from India, bro. Keep it up. I love watching your videos. Love you too, man. Just wanted to say you're my favorite Clash Royale creator. Keep doing what you're doing, dude. Of course. I'm going to keep doing what I'm doing for many years to come. Love Clash Royale. Love creating content. I wouldn't be doing anything. I wouldn't want to be doing anything else. How do I deal with not being tilted when I lose matches? That is one of the best questions that anyone's asked today.
Yeah, I think the 2 small changes.
I never get tilted when I lose anymore. I used to, and then I realized that if you get tilted losing a game in Clash Royale, it's supposed to be fun, right? Take a break, come back to it later. If you reframe your brain as like, games are meant to be fun and not stressful, you're not going to be playing when you get too stressed. Because there's no point, right? Take a bit of a break, come back later. Also, realize that if you're losing in a Clash Royale match, it's not impacting your life. I mean, maybe if you're losing in these, then you could be stressed or angry or upset, right? There's a reason. But if you're losing a couple trophies on a virtual video game, not that big of a deal. You know, you'll climb them back up eventually later on, and you're just supposed to do it as like a relaxing break from reality. That's what I would do. So enthusiastic. I love watching your videos. It's so fun to see your face every morning. Hey, let's go. Yeah, it's cool to see so many people like enjoy the content. You remember, you learn much more from losing than winning. That's a good mentality, but I don't think that's applicable for everyone. Like sometimes people like don't learn something from losing a game. Like sometimes you can get a bad card cycle, or you can have a bad hand, or maybe a bad matchup, and you get like angry or tilted about that. So you don't always learn something. So I try to make sure that my statements are encapsulating everything, because I think that, you know, no matter what, losing a game will not impact your life, right? So that's the way that I try to look at it.
with Cheesecake. You go
But
with
yeah, that's a good way of looking at it. If you can learn something from it, then it's an added bonus for sure. At least that doesn't really work for me. Like learning does help, but it's not all the time. I feel like the take a break advice was spoken straight to me, says Mike. Yeah, if you guys don't see Michael M. Singer in the chat, he's one of my good friends. Whenever he gets tilted and loses, he always spams me. I'm like, dude, I got you. Losing means you did well enough to get high on ladder and face tougher opponents, as Eric from Clash 1 Hive. Yeah, that's a pretty good take as well. Like if you are playing against people your skill level, or you're losing against people, that means that you're actually, you know, in a spot that the people that you're playing against are decent.
Let's talk a little bit about the Galaxy Z Fold 5.
Yo, you didn't see my message, so I repeated it. I'm stuck in Arena 7. Any tips? Play the same deck over and over and over again. Grind that same deck, because if you do, you're gonna get really good with it, and you'll end up learning the placements, the card interactions. Just like how I knew the Magic Archer was going to get 3 shots against that Mini P.E.K.K.A. at that weird health point. I was able to call that out and be like, Mini P.E.K.K.A. is going to take 3 shots and the tower is going to die in 3 hits. And I was right, because I played that specific card so much. It's my favorite card in Clash Royale, so I know Magic Archer really well. When you learn those 8 cards in your deck to an extreme extent, you're going to know how to extract better positive elixir trades from them. But if you're switching cards all the time, you're not going to learn how to play those other new cards instantly. And then because you don't understand that, and there's hundreds of cards, there's like 140 or I don't know how many cards are in Clash Royale. There's over 100 cards. If you switch decks all the time, you're gonna have to learn how those 8 cards in your deck interact with the 100+ cards in the game. It just takes a lot of time, so would not advise that. Hey, can I friend you? I'm subbed. I add people that are members of the channel. There's like a community tab post, and then if you send a message there, then I'll send with my friend link and you can add me. But I don't add people that sub because there's just too many. Like there's 600,000 subscribers, right? I don't have 600,000 spots on my friend list. All right, so Cheesecake, he usually plays Royal Hogs, but now he's running Lava Hound. Wait, this miner is good, but it's not hitting the Magic Archer. Oh no, the miner was not good. So the reason that he dropped the miner there is because if he drops the miner on the right-hand side, it gets pulled to the King Tower with the tornado. I don't envy Cheesecake's situation. His matchup is good, but this situation is absolutely awful. I love Cheesecake as a person. I also love Cheesecake in general just because I eat it for my birthday every single year. It's kind of my celebration. But dang, Cheesecake, he missed that miner, and it cost him all the damage that he could have gotten on the left-hand side. Because if you kill that Magic Archer, then Alan's in a spot where Alan doesn't really have good anti-air defense. Like, he's going to have like a bomb tower in the deck and a tornado. Those are his last 2 cards. But it's really awful for Alan.
It just makes me wonder what we're going to see next. Are we going to see barbarians?
So I bet you Cheesecake has either arrows in the deck. Yeah, he's got to have arrows or zap. This is his last card. I think that if I was Alan, I would just constantly pressure with split wall breakers as much as I could. And maybe miner with like spear goblins to try to force out the zap or the arrows. Because you don't necessarily know. Yeah, this is going to force out the small spell if it's arrows. If not, then he's going to go Goblin Cage. He's going to cage. Oh, no. That Magic Archer's on the tower. I think that Alan is surprisingly in an amazing spot. Because with both towers at 800 HP or lower, then there's... Oh, that's going to activate King Tower against the Cage Brawler too. Wow. Alan's playing out of his mind. But at the same time, it could all fall apart with one push. Because if you look at Alan's deck, he doesn't have Fireball. He doesn't have Poison. The only thing he has is a Magic Archer Tornado to kill an Inferno Dragon, Skeleton Dragons. It's a zap in Cheesecake's last card. That's definitely tower. Oh, no. So I think Cheesecake can start to drop another Lava Hound in the middle to keep up the pressure, possibly. If he wants to, we'll see. Or maybe he goes Miner on top of the Magic Archer. He Miners on the Magic Archer. The Knight's coming down on the right-hand side. He's fireballing on the Miner. Oh, my gosh, Cheesecake. Cheesecake's going to hold the tower, too. No way. Despite him massively messing up with the Miner at the start, not connecting to the Magic Archer, Cheesecake pulls away with the victory. That was actually intense. He has advantage with this deck, yeah. I thought Cheesecake would win since the start, but I thought midway through, after Alan just played really well, I thought he was going to win it. It's one of the hardest matchups in the game, though. It's definitely one of the more difficult ones.
Going to be Barbarians, my prediction. Barbarians or
Pretty insane stuff so far, guys. I'm stuck in Arena 12. What deck would you recommend? Well, the best deck for you would be the best deck that you actually enjoy playing. So check out my YouTube channel, find a deck that you like, and keep grinding that one deck. If you have the cards unlocked, you should run any of the decks on my YouTube channel. They're all great all the way up to the top of ladder. That's what I would suggest.
We haven't seen that this entire tournament.
Find one that you like. Don't play one that you don't like. Like, obviously, I could give you a suggestion, and then you'd be like, well, I don't like that play style. And then, you know, it would be a moot point. So I'd rather give a variety of different options that are all good, and then you pick one. Oh, wow. That was so smart. I don't know if you guys saw that. The Valkyrie from Alan pulled the Monk away, so then the Tesla could target the Royal Giant. Arrows for guards, though. Oh, no. Did Cheesecake actually just hard counter Alan back-to-back games? Cheesecake out here with the sniping strategies. That's brilliant. You guys saw that, right? Arrows crush guards. They kill guards in just like one session of arrows. Royal Giants at the river. Oh, Alan, what are you going to do to defend this? It's game. He's pulling the Valkyrie away and has nothing for the Evo RG. He's going to have to go for an Evo Firecracker and like a log, but he doesn't have a log, so he can't even push the Evo Royal Giant away. Evo Royal Giant locks onto the tower and snacks on it all. Wow. What happens to Smurfblade? Smurfblade's one of the best players in the world, man. He's a top 1,000 player. What type of playstyles are there? I hear a lot of players talking about it, but I don't really understand it. So there's a lot of different playstyles. The number 1 and 2. Number 1 is going to be like a control deck where you respond to your opponent's cards. You defend maybe like with the deck that Alan's running, right? You're responding to the Royal Giant. You're defending with like either guards or Valkyrie, and then after you defend, then you drop a Hog Rider with it, and you try to catch your opponent in a position where they don't have as much elixir as you, so they can't cycle back to their counters. Like maybe Cheesecake would have a Fisherman in the deck, right? Cheesecake won't be able to cycle back to that Fisherman in time for Alan to get back to his Hog Rider. Alan gets back to the Hog Rider. Cheesecake doesn't have his answer to the Hog Rider. Cheesecake takes a lot of damage from Alan's Hog Rider. But for the most part, these type of control decks, they don't have that much damage potential. Like a Hog Rider will not take an entire tower. That's not going to happen. There's multiple Hog Riders that come down to get that damage. But Cheesecake is running more of a beatdown deck with Royal Giant and Monk that is more so capable of taking towers in one push. You've got that Royal Giant. You know that that's going to do a lot of damage. Really scary to play against because that could take an entire tower. And a little bit of a higher cost average there as well, but still has some cycle elements into it. There's a difference between beatdown and cycle. Those are the two main play styles, or cycle or control. Really defensive decks with buildings, or more aggressive decks that try to take towers with more dynamic gameplay.
Look, I don't mind the take. I thought at the first, though, like in game 1, Alan actually looked really strong.
Oh,
right?
Grant, I love you.
Honestly,
Looking good. Excited to see you play. Thanks, buddy. I love you.
You said something about,
hope you're doing well.
All of his units are cheap, right? Like he had an opportunity to cycle. What was Cheesecake?
Are all the best players in the world on the ladder leaderboard? It depends. Sometimes they don't play ladder at all points in time. Sometimes they do different stuff, you know? I'm terrible at control decks. I like big push decks, says Eric One Hive. Yeah, I mean, if you don't want to like learn all the intricate placements, the easiest thing to do is run a deck that you can take a tower with. Because if you're running the control decks or the cycle decks like what Alan ran, both of those times, the decks that Alan was running, neither of them worked if you lost a tower. If you lose a tower with Alan's deck, you're dead. The game is over. You have to play perfect gameplay the entire time. And as you saw, Cheesecake did not play well at the start of this match. He played terribly compared to his normal gameplay. He missed the miner on top of the Magic Archer. He made some not so good defenses. He took a ton of damage. But because Cheesecake is running a beatdown deck, and he was able to make some good plays, he got his way back into the game and won the match. The second game, Cheesecake played perfectly. But the first game, if you don't play your best and you're running a beatdown deck, you can still win. And with control decks, you have to play perfectly the entire way through, which is the main difficulty that we had here. So something to keep in mind. When you're trying to pick your play style, find out, hey, do I want to dedicate an immense amount of hours to really mastering the game at a fundamental level? If so, then you can run a control or cycle deck that, you know, you can win or lose based off of your skill. If you're able to defend your opponent's stuff, you're going to win. And there's a lot more opportunities to do that because your deck is like a little bit more maneuverable. But if you mess up, you immediately lose and then the game's over. And that's what happened for right here. Like Alan messed up once and then the game was immediately over. Favorite food, SirTag? I love unagi. I really, really love unagi dons and sushi. Sometimes I'll just end up having like, I don't know. Sometimes I'll just have sushi and that will be my favorite meal. Recently, I've been having a lot more salads because I'm trying to get more fit. I'm trying to have better energy, trying to just be the healthiest version of myself. So I have not been eating my favorite foods recently, but I want to have a lot more sushi before I leave because I love the food here in Seattle. It's been really good. Been much better than in Boston. I'm loving your commentary over there. Appreciate the effort. Oh, thanks, man. I'm glad to hear that. I'm the opposite. I can't play beatdown, but I can play cycle decks. Victor, at the same time, if you're used to playing cycle decks and you're really used to having those cheap cards bail you out on defense, that's a cool thing. Like, for instance, maybe you're really used to the interactions with goblins, so you know what you can do, like fully surrounding a Dark Prince with goblins, or going for goblins to counter a bandit, or using goblins against a goblin barrel, and you're really comfortable with those cards. You switch to playing golem, and then you feel like you have a slow and clunky deck, where you can barely make many decisions. So it really depends on your play style specifically. You're going to struggle with the opposite if you haven't played it before. But the main thing is you just keep playing it, and then you'll get accustomed to it, I promise. Yo, SEO, thank you for the, or SDO, thank you for the $1. I like your sweater. Thanks, man. I live in Seattle, says Upward Music. Yeah. So how would your girlfriend stay in Seattle or go back to Boston? How do you feel about that, bro? Oh, I haven't had a girlfriend for the past 3 months, so that is, that won't be a problem. I lived in Seattle for 2 years. Loved all the seafood, especially at Pike's Place Market. I love Pike's Place. That's part of the reason why I don't want to leave. It's like I love the Seattle area. I don't know. I'm thinking about Boston, thinking about Seattle. We'll make a decision by the end of the month. SirTag, I'm looking for a clan. What do I need to look for? You need to look for people that you vibe with. Be around people that you enjoy. What time is it where you are? Right now it's 5:54 p.m.
It's strengthened by Samsung's mightiest processor, and you'll have the power to unlock and inspire.
Guys, look, we got the Samsung Z Fold 5. Let's go.
The link is in the description down below. You can also head over type in the command on YouTube.
Oh, but they're showing the Samsung Galaxy Tab S9 Plus. That's what I like the most. I personally, guys, if you guys are wondering what I like, I really, really, really like tablets because they are bigger, and that's part of the reason why I like this phone, because it's bigger, so you're able to make less misclicks and like you're not going to be in a situation where you're like fat fingering things because the screen is so small and you're using your thumbs and you're trying to be like, the placements have to be here, and then you drop it in the wrong spot and you're like, oh, I lost. It's one of the worst feelings, I would say, is running like cycle decks with a phone. It's like super small. You look like a Texas kind of guy. I actually was looking at Texas, man. But the bugs and then also the hot weather. I don't know. I just like the split screen because I can play 2 games at once or just watch YouTube while I play, says Eric from One Hive. I agree, dude. I like the fact that you can do 3 different apps on it.
Drum roll, please.
Have you met any Clash Royale YouTubers in person? Yeah, I've met all of them.
Galaxy Battle Superverse Program.
Go.
The entire Supercell community will come together. First of its kind cross-game.
Let's get it.
Supercell universes will collide as creators and players will compete.
Look at that. Be out here.
Plans and Clash Royale to find out who the best gamer in the Superverse is. The Grand Finals will have a $100,000 prize pool. It will be.
What are you drinking? I'm just drinking coconut water and some water. You know how we do. All right, so the Recruits Minor Wall Breakers deck, a good deck. Yeah, Recruits are really, really strong right now. They're one of the best cards in the game.
I'll be there. I will attempt to cast. You will be casting too. I'll be casting. Yes.
I'm so excited for this. Like the fact that the Grand Finals are on September 30th. You guys better be prepared. I'm going to be playing then. I'm playing. All right, so taking a look again at the next matches. As you guys can see, Adam versus Droy, Ian versus Katori, who is aka Baby Nate, Air Surfer versus Darian. Darian is one of my best friends. And then Cheesecake versus Sugar Frenzy. I know both of these guys as well. Sugar Frenzy is one of the best Royal Recruits players in the entire world. And then Cheesecake is, of course, one of the fastest cycle players that is just absolutely overpowered. Hey, what's up, Peter Parker? What's up, Anthony? I know you. I know your name. Love from Cali. My first time watching any CR event. Yeah, dude. If you're a free-to-play player, how would you suggest to climb if you get bored of playing the same decks over and over again? Stuck in Arena 15, got bored so quickly. Sending good vibes from Scotland. Yeah, so if you're getting bored right now, go to Classic Challenge. Go jump into some games there. Try out whatever decks you want there. Highly, highly, highly suggest you to not be playing on ladder with the same deck over and over again if it's boring. Go and test that out. See what's up. That's what I would do if I were you, man. Go check that out if you can. All right. One sec. We're gonna check if. Oh wait, I don't think I don't think I go in. I forgot. I was like, wait, am I casting? And yeah, so I'm gonna be casting soon too. Gonna be fun. Are you guys gonna go and make sure your teammates build an army in Clash of Clans to make up for the chess mask? All right, Eric, did you watch that at all? I didn't know anything about the game, bro. Clash of Clans and I, it was pure memes, bro. I didn't even know that you could heal up your army. That was fun. Thanks for all the videos that you drop, the time that you invest into this. Appreciate your attempts to make us all play at the level you do. Your positivity and energy are inspirational. Yeah, dude, I just have a lot of fun playing the game. I mean, I streamed for 4 hours before this, and this is going to be a 5-hour live stream. I'm going to be playing Clash Royale for 10 hours today, all right? Light work. And before that, I have watched videos for an hour as well. I worked out. I got some exercise. I ate 2 salads. I was healthy and happy and ready to sit down and grind some Clash Royale. Oh, you were casting it. Oh, no. Dude, Eric, every time he's like, SirTag sucks. I'm like, oh, come on, man. You know, maybe one day I'll get a little bit better at Clash of Clans. He's like, no, he's awful. I'm like, oh, okay. It was so funny. At least I wrecked in the Clash Royale matches. We didn't even come close to losing those. It was fun. But I should have won. I don't know if you guys remember. I should have won the match against OJ in the chess part. Unfortunately, I lost. Or, like, I didn't lose. I tied. But it was a stalemate in chess. I stalemated against OJ, even though I had, like, 8 pieces on the board. He only had a king, and I stalemated him. Because he couldn't move. He wasn't allowed to move. And somehow, like, it counts as a stalemate, even though it should have been checkmate. It triggered me. I didn't play chess very much before that, so I didn't really know that you're always supposed to put your opponent in check so you don't risk a stalemate. That was one of my biggest regrets in life.
That comeback against the lava.
Dang, it's been a minute since I watched a vid. I remember you made a video on my worst deck possible suggestion. Gotta get back on that tag video grind. Yeah, man. I haven't done any like meme or fun videos like that in a while. I've mostly been doing serious gameplay games just because it's been easier and more fun for me. I've wanted to make sure I never get burnt out on what I'm doing. And if I can make sure that, you know, the meme videos are sometimes really fun, but sometimes they're stressful to record. I haven't done as many recently just because of that. I can go back to that and I can start doing some crazier concepts again. But yeah, I don't know. For the most part, I've been really just looking at the best decks in the game and then trying to make videos on those. We want you in the competitive scene. Well, that's not going to happen. I always do what I enjoy. Should I leave my wife to pursue her full-time Clash Royale career? Probably not. Probably not. Would not recommend. Would not recommend. Do you think that a Dark Prince Mega Knight deck is good right now? Yeah, there's a Dark Prince Mega Knight deck with Firecracker and Hog Rider. There's a decent one. You can type in like Dark Prince Mega Knight SirTag, and there's probably going to be one that pops up. Or type in Mega Knight Hog Rider SirTag, and there's a lot of videos that come up on that. How do you manage to stream and upload daily? I sometimes struggle to upload weekly. Do you have like one day a week just recording and then the rest editing? I edit every single, or sorry, I record every single day.
interested to see
almost every day.
what else he brings to the table.
I
Yeah,
generally can get a couple videos in a day if I want to, but it depends. It's really situational. Sometimes I'll record 2 videos a day. Sometimes I'll record 1 video a day. Sometimes I won't get any videos because I didn't play well or I didn't learn a deck properly. So then I don't feel good like rushing out a terrible video. I want to make sure that each video that I put out is something I'm proud of and something that, you know, I would want to watch personally. So I have an entire editing team that helps me out that I've trained for 3 years. These guys have been working with me for years now. And then they got to the point where their editing is something that I can hand off to them and be like, all right, I'll rewatch it and I'll make sure that there's changes that I like. But for the most part, we're not going to edit things and make changes more than 4 times in a row. So all the videos that you guys watch, there's anywhere between 2 to 4 different re-renders with different changes in between. But for the most part, my team can get it down into 1 render now, like really quick. Like we make changes after I watch the video. I watch every video that I put out. I have a lot of time that I put into each piece of content that we publish. Anyway, getting back into the game here. We got Adam running Evolve Barbarians, Inferno Dragon Arrows. It's going to have to be a Lava Hound deck from Adam. Has to be Lava Hound. And Droy is going to be running a Tesla Guards Hog Rider deck with Snowball. Or maybe it's Inferno Tower, but it's going to be Tesla or it's going to be Inferno Tower. After seeing the Snowball. I don't think it's going to be a Bomb Tower deck. It just wouldn't make that much sense. So Adam right now has a huge advantage in the matchup if there is no Inferno Tower. We'll see what it's going to be, though. He's not going to be back to Barbarian, so he has to go for Arrows and Miner. Now he's going to be back to Inferno Dragon.
That arrows chain going to be doing so good versus
This is...
Firecrackers. I'm pretty sure
It's going to be a tough situation for Droy because the Firecrackers die to Arrows and Miners, so... There's 2 different ways that Roy's cards are going to get like pieced apart. Lava Hound in the back right. But right now, if you guys are noticing that Lava Hound in the back right, it means that Adam doesn't really care as much about his left-hand tower. Adam is just trying to protect his right-hand tower. Inferno Tower, as I expected. Yup, that's so bad for Adam. That is so bad for Adam. He's going to try to zap to reset the Inferno Tower so it locks onto the Evolved Barbarians, but the Evolved Barbarians all died to a Valkyrie and Firecracker, but then the Inferno Tower still melted the entire Lava Hound. Wow. That's insane. Have you ever thought about rating viewers' decks? I have a series on that. It's called Trash Your Treasure. SirTag Trash Your Treasure. Check it out if you haven't already. How much latency is it between recording a video and when the video goes out? Generally around 2 to 3 days. Sometimes it can be a little bit longer, but generally try to make it around 2 or 3 days. Because there's 20+ hours of editing that goes into every video. And obviously the reason why we're able to do that is because we have sponsors like Samsung, and without them, we wouldn't be able to afford the editing team that I have. Worst match possible for Adam. I thought he would have a good matchup against like a Tesla or a Bomb Tower, maybe. But then he ended up playing against Inferno Tower, so he's just so screwed. Because the Inferno Tower... all that Adam can do is go in for Lava Hounds, right? The Lava Hound gets melted for a -2 trade by the Inferno Tower. Okay, Adam's trying to switch it up. He's going to go for a Miner inside corner, trying to make sure that the Miner would tank for the Inferno Tower. Balloon's coming through. He needs to be able to arrows through that. He hits the Firecracker, but the Firecracker doesn't even die to the arrows. Oh my gosh. Droy is just destroying. Wait, the Evolved Barbarians with the Miner? Oh my gosh. Wait, guys. Oh, they just died. Dang. I was optimistic because Evolved Barbarians tanked for by a Miner could take the tower.
With that constant pressure of the Hog Rider and the Firecracker.
Yo.
Can't break through that defense of the Snowball and the Inferno.
I'm your fans from Malaysia. Thanks, man.
The Firecracker definitely got a decent
All right. What's your favorite deck archetype? My favorite deck in the game is Rail Recruits. Rail Recruits, Rail Hogs. And then my second favorite deck is going to be Golem. It's generally what I like to do. It was generally my favorite decks. Is it okay for your main deck to be an off-meta deck? It's okay for you to like decks that aren't even that good. Your favorite deck can be trash at the game, but as long as you're having fun, you're accomplishing the objective of a video game, which is to have fun. So don't worry about it. Even if I say that your deck is bad and I like say, hey, make these changes, you don't have to make those changes if you just want to keep having fun at the game, you know? You could run like a Witch Wizard deck and enjoy Clash Royale and do that all the way up to like 9,000 trophies if you really wanted to. It's possible.
Oh, he does. Oh, no.
You're not going to be able to play competitively, but you will be able to complete the game and hit the highest arena with whatever decks you guys like.
Yeah.
It's just like consistent chip damage.
Miner in a similar
Fun is when you win. It depends on what you do, man.
Miner counters here. He's got a NATO, making it so that Miner can only be placed on one spot to prevent the Kintar division. And he's got the Knight, the Gold Knight, and even Goblins here to pick those up.
Is there any Goblin Giant deck you would recommend? Yeah, there's a ton. Goblin Giant Sparky is the main one. That's the best one for sure. What if I only have fun if the game stresses me out, though?
Yeah.
Dude, I love Eric's thought process. Eric's thought process is awesome. Eric's out here like saying, I don't suffer from insanity. I enjoy every minute of it. That's Eric's motto. That's what he lives by.
For example, you can go Fire Spirit, kill the first Goblin, and then or you can go like Skeleton.
All right. Anyway, love your hair. Thanks, man. Yeah, I like my hair too. Definitely like it longer than shorter. But yeah, we'll see. We'll see what happens.
He might be able to have decent ideas to stop this Goblin drill.
All right, so Evolved Knight just does not take that much damage from the Archer Queen ever. When it's moving, it takes 60% less damage. But when it's stagnant, it takes the max. It takes the normal amount of damage. When it's not moving, when it's attacking something, it'll take maximum damage. You're much more mellow on your stream than in your videos, and meaning your attitude throughout your videos is draining your taxing, or does it just come pretty natural? So that's a great question. Generally, so for the videos are going to be like the most hype and most fun games that I record after an hour of playing. On a live stream where I'm streaming for 5 hours after I streamed 4 hours before, I'm definitely going to be way more mellow and chill for 9 hours of streaming in a row than I would be for an hour play session. And during the hour play session, flipping and grabbing the best matches from that, it's going to be way more hype. It's going to be way more hype. So just think about it from that perspective. If you do anything for like a longer period of time, it's going to be way more chill, obviously. And then also, if you take the most hype moments from an hour of gameplay, it's going to be more hype. That's the way that I like to look at it. Can you ban me? No, I'm not going to ban you unless you do something bad. But don't do something bad for me to ban you, okay? Oh, man, it's such a weird thing to say. Also, King Madura, thank you so much for the Murda. Thank you for the becoming a member. A chivalrous sir. Fireballs on skeletons. Vicious. All right, so we're looking at Adam's gameplay right now. Adam's running Goblin Drill with Golden Knight, and I mean, truthfully, I really envy Droid's position because he's going to have Poison. Poison does more damage than Fireball. Fire Spirit, Log, Skeletons, all those things can go and counter the Goblin Drill, taking no damage. So I don't know if you guys see this, but like the Goblin got one hit. That was it. One hit is still pretty substantial for Adam. He's happy he got one hit compared to nothing. But he's dropping Goblins in the back, trying to prevent his opponent from dropping a Miner. So each time you drop your Goblins in the back, you're trying to hope that your opponent miners at the exact same moment. Adam goes in for a cheesy Golden Knight Tornado, and the Golden Knight hits nothing. All right, so here's a hot take, guys. I know that I'm either going to get loved or hated for this. Golden Knight is the worst champion in the game by far. It is really bad unless you're running Goblin Drill or you're going to be running Electro Giant. And even in those two decks, every time that I play Golden Knight, I don't get as much value as I would want. Adam got unlucky twice in a row. Yeah, Adam, I think the last game wasn't ideal. I live in a continuous state of hype at all times, says Eric. What's up, Parviz? What's going on, man? Yeah, Golden Knight isn't even that good in E-Giant. Yeah, it's not that good right now. Roy asserting dominance, that's a fact.
I think he's got this one in the bag, but the chip damage just kept coming in.
You have any dogs or cats? Yeah, I have one dog named Rowdy, and we have two cats, Luna and Fiji, are both ragdoll cats. I always rage and say I'm never playing the game again, and then me 10 minutes later, sitting there with the phone. Yeah. That's easily the most relatable thing ever, man. Like, it's pretty funny. How broken would Evo Skeletons be if there's no limit to how many they could spawn? I don't know if they would be like insanely broken or anything. Probably could be a little bit broken. I don't know. I'd probably be very broken.
Like Shane said, it just seemed like he was kind of under defending those miners sometimes. You know, he has these encounters.
How hard is it to get evolutions as a free-to-play player? You just keep playing the special challenges as soon as they come out. You'll get evolution shards each season, each month. Do you like Skeleton Evolution? I'm getting really close to getting it. It's a fun one, but I mean, you should play whatever you like.
Adam does not have a building in his Lava Hound deck.
Your hair looks like Ludwig's hair. Because Compass Man Games. Cool, man. I had no idea you're streaming on YouTube. Yeah. Me vibing. Do you have any cats or dogs? I just answered. I have 2 cats and 1 dog. Luna and Fiji are the cats, ragdoll cats, and then I have a dog. A doggo named Rowdy.
I also will say the poison was something that was.
Why do you talk so fast? Just naturally, I talk really quickly.
Absolutely, and that's a great call out. Really, when it just comes down to it, though, it's just that fire spirit.
Night Evolution or Barbarians. So if you've got a Fireball bait deck, always Barbarians. If you've got a deck that has Fireball bait, always Barbarians. Otherwise, Evo Knight is one of the strongest cards in the game. Very good with control decks. Situational, though. In a Golem deck, you could run Evo Knight, or you could run Evo Barbs. It's funny because the cards are so good that they're kind of interchangeable in some situations.
Our last round 1 match. Players are in round 2. People are moving on and getting eliminated down in the lower bracket as well. But here,
as you guys can see, Sugar Frenzy. Sugar Frenzy, let's go, dude. I love Sugar Frenzy. All right, I'm going to be real with you guys. I have a lot of people I like here. I want Darian and Sugar Frenzy to win their games really badly. I love Darian. Have you considered to do Spanish videos or Spanish subtitles? I have considered it, but it seems like a lot of work for me to do that, and I have not been able to. It's a good idea to run slight variations to your meta decks in the new videos. Sometimes after copying decks, it feels like I'm getting behind in the idea train and I get rolled over. If you're losing, it's not going to typically be because of like the idea of the deck. And truthfully, I got the decks or the ideas from some of the best players in the world and pro players. So if you're losing with it, you just have to learn how to play it a little bit more. And if you switch the decks and you don't necessarily understand why there are certain cards in the deck, you can eventually learn why there's a card in the deck, because like you're like, oh, why is Bomb Tower in here over Inferno Tower? Well, if you don't understand the core concept of the deck and you're swapping out a Bomb Tower for an Inferno Tower, you might just start losing a lot of matches because the Bomb Tower was needed to go and counter all of the Evolved Barbarians, all of the Royal Hogs. Like, there are certain situations that pro players build a deck and they build it specifically so it doesn't have as many weaknesses. If you start changing it and adapting that deck, it might make it worse. Unless you've played the deck a lot and you understand the core concepts of the deck to a fundamental level. However, there's a different story. If you don't have Bomb Tower leveled up and your Bomb Tower's at like level 10 and your Inferno Tower's at level 14, almost always use level 14 Inferno Tower. So it's really situational. Someday AI will auto dub videos for us, as Eric. Yeah, dude. AI is gonna do it all.
Maybe a slight edge, maybe a little more experience and competitive, but
truthfully, I never want AI to take over video content creation because I see all this AI stuff and I'm like, oh, man, I want content creation to be about the person, right? I want it to be about the personality. I want it to be about the person that's creating the content. I would never want it to be AI everywhere. You know?
Drill and some more wall breakers. Maybe a mirror matchup. No, probably a minor deck from Nate here, and then that Goblin Drill.
Right.
From Ian. I'm not really sure who has a matchup in this situation.
How many languages do you speak? One. Shout out to all of us ladder ragers, says Michael, for 17 months. I love you, buddy. I know you got genetic under eye bags all the time. I was just wondering if you look tired. I'm just curious, how do you sleep? I sleep really well. I slept super, super well for the past like couple days recently. Before that, I did not sleep very well, but usually I just have genetic under eye circles. So that's one thing about me. Everyone has something about their personal appearance or something in their life. You know, one thing that I have is I have genetic under eye circles. So it's fine. Commentary, please. Yeah, I got you. Let's get back to the games. So Ian is going to be running a Goblin Drill Tornado Magic Archer deck. And Nate, baby Nate Katori, is also running something very similar. I wonder if it's going to be the exact same deck. All right, so that Magic Archer is going to get tornadoed immediately by Ian, so he doesn't take that much damage. We'll see what else we can do. Screen is blurry? Screen should not be blurry. Is it blurry, guys? I don't think it should be. All right, so the wall breakers are going to get killed by a royal delivery if Ian's got it, and Ian does have it.
He loves to do this mind game.
So
Is it a mind game?
Yeah, he says good game, but he's like,
I think that if I were Ian right now, I would just keep going in for the left-hand side. I wouldn't want to go same side as Baby Nate, because if you're going same side and you're down already in a mirror matchup, it's going to be brutal for you. You got to switch it up. You got to do something different. Otherwise, Baby Nate's just going to retain the damage lead, and then I think that Baby Nate wins then. So Ian has to switch it up and go on the other side. The Evolved Knight might lock onto the tower, but Spear Goblins come down and pull it back. Oof. Ian is playing in a really tragic position. So cycling the Magic Archer in the back means that it could get Royal Deliveried. That Magic Archer could get Royal Deliveried. But Baby Nate knows that Ian does not end up having a poison or a fireball. So he's in a much better spot from that perspective. I don't know why Baby Nate decided to go in for an aggressive play there. He decided to go in for Magic Archer and Wall Breakers when he knew that Royal Delivery was still in Ian's deck. That was aggressive. Gonna go in for a Goblin Drill and then double Wall Breakers. Wall Breakers from Ian and then probably like a Tornado or a Log. Doesn't have Log, so I guess Tornado. Evolved Knight in the left with Magic Archer, so now Ian has to go in for a Royal Delivery. Wait, did Ian miss the Magic Archer with a Royal Delivery? I think he did. All right, Royal Delivery is going to be able to tank for the Magic Archer, and the NATO was not hitting everything that he wanted. Okay. Magic Archer gets killed by the Royal Delivery. Evolved Knight coming through for Ian. I actually like Ian's spot a lot more right now, just because Ian has the Evolved Knight counter pushing. So if the Evolved Knight's tanking for the tower and the Tesla's locking onto the Evolved Knight and not the Goblin Drill, that's going to be a lot of damage potential for Ian. And I think the Wallbreaker connects, and it does. Wow. Ian played that so well. He tanked for an eternity with that Wallbreaker. Just with the Evolved Knight. That Evolved Knight tanked for so long. All right, Magic Archer is going to lock onto the Royal Delivery again. Tornado is constantly coming through. And then the Tornado from Ian in response. Brutal.
oh my god, that was so many Magic Archers.
Ian has a worse matchup here too. Ian's going to have Inferno Tower, and he is just outplaying one of the best players in the world with Goblin Drill and Miner. Like, Baby Nate Katori is one of the best Miner players in the entire world. And Ian is somehow outplaying him. That was just perfect gameplay from Ian. Royal Delivery makes the prediction on the Magic Archer. It's not enough, though. Spear Goblins do end up killing. But the Evolved Knight's going to tank. This is going to be Ian's game to lose right now. If he can just Goblin Drill and have the Evolved Knight tank, the Goblins in the back are definitely going to get onto the tower. And that's all she wrote. Beautiful gameplay from Ian. Literally perfect. Honestly, Baby Nate seemed like he was just a little bit nervous there, I would say.
Played some mind games. Came back.
Because with the Tesla, instead of Inferno Tower, there's definite matchup advantage right there for Baby Nate. So, pretty crazy stuff.
No, I don't think it played that factor at all. I think it was just, I think Ian's just probably just a really
Magic Archer is too broken right now? Yeah, that was really crazy. So, if I'm Ian right now, I would probably run a Hog Rider deck just because there's no Tornado and there's no Tesla cycle or in the decks. Ooh, risky. This is really risky from Ian. Unless he's playing against Inferno Tower. He's going to be playing against Inferno Tower or Bomb Tower from Katori. We'll see. We'll see if it's Bomb Tower or Inferno Tower. Bomb Tower means that Ian's in a really bad spot. Inferno Tower means that Ian's in a good spot. It's crazy how one card can make a difference. But the Bomb Tower will do splash damage. The Inferno Tower can't really clean up Royal Recruits very well. So that's the main difference.
I feel like the Barbarians.
Evolved Barbarians from Baby Nate.
Whenever I've played them, they've always done so well versus.
It seems like these top players are all running the same decks.
One of the better answers.
Did they all get in a group chat and just say, hey, here's the decks that I'm playing? Oh! I love the fact that that fly machine might lock onto the tower. But it doesn't. Yikes. Oh, it does.
Is it more mind games?
Oh, that was weird.
More mind games. He's showing the white flag. He's like, dude, this matchup's so bad.
Yeah, Bomb Tower into the Royal Recruits is not going to be easy for Ian. Especially because this is one of Baby Nate's best decks. Minor Poison is his main deck. So, he's going to poison. He's 100% going to poison. What side does he poison, though? Probably the right side, right?
I mean, sometimes.
Really?
Very rarely.
I guess he's saving it for a fly machine, maybe. Interesting.
Here we have the matchup.
See, I didn't know that. I didn't know that you weren't supposed to poison that, but I just learned.
Fly machine.
He's poisoning the fly machine instead. That's okay. The strategy is don't poison on the Royal Recruits, poison on the fly machine, and then distract the fly machine with Ice Spirit or Skeleton, so then he guarantees to die. So Baby Nate is trying to play safer right now. He's not trying to get extra damage by poisoning the tower. He's trying to just get minor damage on the tower, get the advantage guaranteed, and then poison on the fly machine so the fly machine can't break through. And then just use the bomb tower to clean up the Royal Hogs. That's the strategy right now for Katori, aka Baby Nate, versus Ian. He's just going to use the poison every time on the fly machine.
It's going to be a tough match for Ian here.
So we should see that really soon.
The advantage would go to the fly machine because it's such a devastating card if you don't have an immediate response.
The miner's coming through. Zappy's going to be directly on top of the miner. Poison does come down. It's not hitting the fly machine, so how is Ian going to be able to get something out of this fly machine right now? He needs to get damage.
Does he have the bomb turn? Oh, he's got the Evo Barbs.
Evo Barbs kills everything. And then he goes Archer Queen right on top of the fly machine probably, or he just lets the tower kill it. Wow, the fly machine was within proximity of the tower. Archer Queen. Ah, that Archer Queen was really bad.
Archer Queen's too far out of range. What? Does he have enough for
He thought the Archer Queen would be able to hit the fly machine, or he thought the fly machine would walk up into it.
You're definitely right about this fly machine being the key to the matchup for Ian. Honestly, he needs to somehow try to get...
Yeah, those barbs are not it. He wanted the tower to start focusing on the fly machine. So, if you guys didn't know, Baby Nate is really, really good at this type of deck. It's just, he is a bit nervous from what I'm seeing. He's made a lot more misplays than normal. He's just playing so safe, though. If you guys can tell, even if his mechanics aren't as good as normally, his decision-making is amazing. Like the fact that he's always knowing what he can get away with and what he can't get away with. Like he's constantly going poisons on the fly machines, going in for miners when he can. Maybe he'll mess up like some interaction against a fly machine in a high pressure $100,000 tournament. But, you know, like that's understandable. There's a lot to learn from this. If anything, it's more relatable, right? Instead of watching your favorite pro player never make mistakes on ladder because they have no pressure at all. This is how to win even if you aren't playing your best. And you can just win by playing intelligently. He's minoring in the back. He knows that Ian has no way of countering that miner at all. Ian's going for a bar barrel, which is a waste of elixir because the bar barrel doesn't give any counter push. Ian's probably going to go recruits at the river. I mean, he likely wants to keep that fly machine alive, and he does. Right into a poison. Poison into the fly machine. But there's another one. There's another fly machine. Fireball comes down on the Archer Queen to try to push it into the fly machine, but Ian goes invisible. Barbarians come down to make sure that the fly machine doesn't lock onto the tower. And then Ian still finds himself in a bad spot where he's going to get poisoned, and now the miner's coming down. Wait. I think that Ice Spirit Log just kills up the piggies, and then doesn't even have to go Bomb Tower if he didn't want to, but he's going to do it anyway. Yeah. You're not going to win against one of the best, if not the best, miner poison player in the world right now from Baby Nate. If he is playing his main deck, it's just not going to happen if you get hard countered. So very unfortunate game for Ian. I think Ian played extremely well. It's just, you're not going to break through someone with that level of game knowledge if they have a matchup advantage against you. Bad matchup? Yeah, very bad matchup for Ian, unfortunately.
Going into a hog earthquake for this third.
But also, it is what it is. You called that perfectly? Yeah. It is what it is. Nate shouldn't lose this since he plays minor control. Nate would never lose that game. I didn't want to say that. But that is how it is. Good, waiting for my daughter to land. Just burning time, says Ryan. Dude, Ryan, I hope you have an amazing night with your daughter. And hopefully she had some really safe travels and a good time. Love you, dude. It's nice to see people come together and just be a part of the stream, whether, you know, they're waiting for their daughter, their friend, or just trying to chill and have a good rest of their night. And it's nice to see people from all walks of life come on the stream. Anyway, getting back to business here. This is the third game. Really intense stuff. So Baby Nate is going to be running arrows, dappies. No way. Is Baby Nate running the Royal Recruits deck? He actually did it. I love you, Baby Nate. He's running my deck. He's doing it. He's doing the deck that he beat. Wait, that heal spirit's going to do nothing. Oh, no, Baby Nate. Oh, no, that's tragic, bro.
2 hog shots, too?
2 hog rider shots, a fireball, and a fly machine. 9 elixir, guys. 9 elixir against 6, and you still take damage. That is awful. Baby Nate is in a tragic position. However, Mighty Miner does nothing in this matchup.
Rather have Evil Knight, he used it earlier, but at least you have that 3-card cycle he's talking about. Firecracker,
I don't like Ian's matchup here at all. Ian only has the evolved Firecracker that can die to a fireball. Unless he's got Bomb Tower. If he's got Bomb Tower, Ian's in a good spot. No, the Goblin Cage isn't going to full counter either. That Hog Rider will get a hit. And the Firecracker evolution is doing so much damage. I don't even think the evolved Firecracker dies.
Firecracker. It got nerfed, but it's still so good. What when that?
Oh my gosh.
Oh my goodness, one more shot.
That's crazy.
It stacks up damage so quick. It locks.
Well, we'll see if he's got Bomb Tower.
in front of your tower.
He doesn't have Bomb Tower, it looks like.
One more hog going in.
Unless he just doesn't want to drop
He
it.
doesn't have Goblin Cage in hand.
Maybe Ian doesn't. Did Ian run Bomb Tower earlier?
Oh no.
Tower's down to 430.
Oh no.
Another Firecracker.
Really good recruits.
Do come down.
Tesla it is from Ian.
Right now. Here comes
Wait, I don't know if Ian can defend this. These are recruits and a fly machine, and he is not having that much elixir.
He's saving up to 5 like
Royal Hogs are going to keep the fly machine alive. Wait, I really like this position for Nate right now.
Enough, but that was a
That was a lot of damage, but the fly machine didn't go in the right-hand side. Dang it. That was intense. I don't know why I'm rooting for Nate so hard right now, but I love Royal recruits, so I think I intrinsically always want recruits to win. Fly machine left-hand side going in, but I don't know if it's going to get a lock, and it does! Oh my gosh! If he needs to stop this Firecracker. He needs to stop this Firecracker. Oh my gosh.
Ian taking the
Oh, wow. That was an intense match.
Well done.
That was some of the best gameplay I've seen from Ian. Still being able to somehow stop that. That matchup was scary. I bet you if Ian didn't have the spectacular start at the start of the match, that outcome would have been entirely different. That Hog Rider baiting out a flying machine, Fireball, and Heal Spirit and doing that amount of damage, insane.
Honestly, I like the YouTuber grudge match. That was a very close game.
That was
across the board,
insane.
and even with the Evo Firecracker,
Wow, Ian played out of his mind to make that happen. Ian's Hog always hits. Yeah, dude, that Hog Rider got an insane amount of damage
and almost answered back
at the start of the match. That's what put Nate in a tilted mindset too, probably too. Like, if you see a Hog Rider do that amount of damage, you know you don't have as much health to work with for the rest of the game. And then you're sitting there and you're like, damn, how am I going to make this happen? How can I make a comeback into the game? That's hard. Especially when you have a matchup advantage too. It feels bad because you're like, well, I'm expected to win this. And then when it falls apart, it's just like, it's brutal. To be fair, I do think Nate should have won the first match with his deck with the Tesla, because Nate is such a good player with that type of deck. I would have, if you had told me that Nate and Ian both had those matchups and they were playing to each other, I would give Nate like 80-20 odds of winning that. Just because he plays that deck so much, or play those type of decks so much. But Ian really played just better in the first game. And then the last game, I'm so impressed that he won that.
That was it. All he needed was a few more earthquakes. I thought he had him right here with that fly machine.
That was crazy. There were so many situations where like the fly machine locked on, the fly machine went left-hand side instead of right. It was just, it was so tough to defend that.
Really close in the end, albeit Ian, of course, coming out on top. Quick look at
Nate's got to be really nervous. Yeah, I think so.
From tower damage, but let's take a look at the
Ian asserted dominance? Yeah, he did, man.
Look,
he really did.
Talk to me about game one. Ian, obviously very strong.
I mean,
these guys are still like some of the best players in the world. I for real, like you don't see much better. You don't see many better players than these guys, if ever.
That's what this matchup is about. Ian just doing it a little bit better.
Nate is usually not scared of anyone. I don't think he's scared. I think that he just didn't play his best. He's super, super good. All respect to Nate. He had all the matches. No, I do not think that Nate had all the matchups. Maybe he did, actually. Maybe you're right. Yeah, he did have matchup second game. He did. Definitely had matchup second game. Definitely had matchup first game. Third game probably had matchup two. I guess you're right. Yeah. I was trying to reflect on that. I was like, first matchup, it was relatively even, though. Just the Inferno Tower was the main difference because of Tesla. The reason why Inferno Tower is worse than Tesla is because, like, when you're playing against wall breakers, you don't want to drop a 5 elixir card to counter wall breakers. You don't really want to drop a 4 elixir card like a Tesla, but you can drop the 4 elixir Tesla. You can't drop the 5 elixir Inferno Tower. It's just too much of a difference. A -3 trade is way worse than a -2 when you're running fast cycle decks, because then you can't get back to the cards as quick.
I mean, you have the Fireball and arrows for Firecracker.
Is Inferno Tower underrated? Inferno Tower is really, really bad into wall breaker and bait guards because it's 5 elixir. If you're dropping Inferno Tower into like a mortar deck, or if you're dropping Inferno Tower into a card like wall breakers, you're almost always going to get bad interactions.
Could have been a game changer, but he got that huge damage.
Why is Riley in none of these? I guess he didn't qualify or he didn't want to play. I don't know.
Again, Ian77, the first and only.
Sometimes people have things going on in life, you know? Like, not every single time will pro players want to play in things. And that's a good thing, too. You got to recognize that people are humans, too. Like, they can't always do everything.
But I do want to remind everybody that there is a lower bracket as well.
Do you think that Witch is not good right now? I don't think Witch is very good. I think Witch is good with Giant Graveyard, but that's about it. Riley is in Canada. This was US only. Okay, that's a good take as well. That's the proper take. Shout out to Brighton setting the facts straight. The fact that I didn't know that is embarrassing. Thank you, Brighton. I appreciate that. I'll always let you guys know if I'm wrong about things. I try to correct it as fast as I can because I don't want to give you guys any bad info.
You talked and touted Air Surfer, so give
people are
him
humans.
flowers, if you will.
Quote SirTag.
Air Surfer, he's been at the world.
A lot of people just assume that YouTubers are robots. If you could play a game of Clash Royale against any historical figure, who would you play against? George Washington. I would want to say that I got to play against George Washington. I think that would be goated. Honestly, I don't know. You would have to give me some time to think about that. Probably a president, though. Probably a president. Probably one of the earlier presidents.
But should it ever be added, we know who to go to.
That'd be pretty fun. Einstein, says Colby. Oh, or Cole. Dude, what if I beat Einstein? I think, yeah, no, I want to take it back. All my eggs in the basket of Einstein. I'm recording it for a YouTube video. SirTag versus Albert Einstein. I think that would be the best YouTube video in the world. George Washington is definitely a log bait player. Dude, I thought George Washington would be like a, I don't know. I thought he might be a Golem user. Maybe a Royal Recruits user, actually. He'd probably be a Royal Recruits user, just like me. That's what I was thinking. I thought George Washington and I would be alike, you know. I think Albert Einstein would definitely be more of the minor poison wall breakers users. Leonardo da Vinci is going to go crazy with the flying machine.
Honestly, Clash Royale,
I love it.
There's just so
Okay, let's go. I can't wait for this match. I'm commentating this and watching the entire thing. Guys, Darian is the GOAT. He's my best friend in this entire competition. He is my favorite person. I actually talked to him for an hour and a half about 3 days ago. I was calling him while I was getting ice cream and we were catching up about life. Legitimately the GOAT. So Darian's an amazing person. 100% rooting for him. Let's see what happens. Also, when I'm casting, I can't say this stuff, but when I'm watch partying, say whatever the heck I want. Darian, let's go, dude. He's running Skeleton King, Evolve Mortar, Skeleton Dragons Miner. Really good deck. Bad thing for Darian is he's playing against Executioner. So Darian is getting hard countered right now. But maybe the Mortar locks onto the tower. I don't think Air Surfer lets that lock on the tower. Oh, he does! He lets it lock. Let's go. Hog Rider is going to give a lot of damage into the Skeleton Dragons. Air Surfer doesn't have enough elixir for the Executioner yet. He might go in for it. We'll have to wait and see. Does he Exy? He does. He pulls both of the Skeleton Dragons into the Executioner. The Executioner will lock onto the Miner. And then he also has the potential of cycling either a Knight in front of that if he wants to, or just letting the Executioner die. We'll see what Air Surfer decides to do. It looks like he's going to let it die. It does get a hit on the tower if Darian doesn't respond. Darian's forced to go Skeleton King there. Okay, that's great. I think Darian's happy with that. Maybe he isn't. He's dropping Spear Goblins now. Every single one of the cards, though, that Darian has doesn't necessarily have as much support, right? He's going to have Miner, Mortar, and Skeleton King as his main ways of getting onto the tower and breaking through the Executioner. Not going to have Fireball, though. Darian's got arrows. That's tragic, because with Fireball, you're able to knock back the Evolved Knight, the Hog Rider, and stop that type of push. But playing into a Hog Rider, Evolved Knight, and Executioner when you've got a full bait deck, without the Fireball, it's looking really rough for him right now.
But I think, realizing that...
I think the last card for Air Surfer is undoubtedly going to be a Lightning, by the way, guys. So that is good for Darian, because the Lightning doesn't do anything. It can kill the Mortar, and it can do some damage to the Skeleton Dragons, but that's about it. So Executioner is going to come down. I think the Executioner could die. Yeah, there's the Lightning on the Skeleton Dragons and also the Mortar. Perfect gameplay by Air Surfer. So that just shows you guys, if you have Lightning, maybe not just focus on the tower damage, but focus on the units. If you can kill an Evolve card and then 2 other cards that combine total of 8 elixir for 6, with the Lightning, you always want to take that. It's just worth it, He took away 8 elixir off the map, even more so because I think we can value the we can value the Evolved Mortar more than a 4 elixir card, right? Like, let's just say it's worth 6 elixir, right? You're cycling 2 mortars to get there, right? So essentially, he's getting 10 worth of elixir for 6 plus 4 trade. Pretty insane stuff. Really, really good trade for Air Surfer. Tornadoes on the Skeleton Army. Gets the bats down. The Evolved Knight is not taking that much damage. Forcing out the Mortar. Immediately going to get Lightning down. And I think that Hog Rider gets a hit. Putting him into a Log Tornado range. Or Lightning if he wants to. But Log Tornado should come down first. Darian's still trying. Darian's going for minor Skeleton Dragons. He's logging and tornadoing. He's not going to go for the Lightning. The Lightning just costs too much elixir. And the Lightning could get body blocked. If you go for a Lightning, it costs 6 elixir and it gets blocked by Skeletons, you're going to feel like a fool. But if you go in for a Tornado and you log, you still finish off the tower that's at 100 HP. It's just a slightly bit safer. So well played, well played.
Whenever I use that Hog Executioner deck, I don't know.
Great gameplay so far from Darian and also Air Surfer. I'm really impressed by Air Surfer's gameplay. Darian's deck is similar to a deck that learned from you. Yeah, it's a really good deck. Also, I do want to give a huge shout out again for the $50 from Cool Bro Liddy. Thank you for the cool question, and then also thank you for the $50. Like, having that level of support is pretty insane. Thank you, man.
Having that building, I feel like kind of covers a little bit of bases.
We got a wall breaker deck again.
So getting back to the decks right now, I think it's going to be a Skeleton King from Air Surfer or Mighty Miner. He's running Evolved Barb, so I guess not. Usually there's champions in this deck, but I don't know. Fire Spirit is not completely countering the Skeleton Barrel, and it looks like Darian is making some big outplays right now. Both wall breakers connect. So much value from Darian, but the Goblin Barrel is evening everything up. Oof. Wow, I thought Darian was up a lot after that, but I guess not. Darian, he's going to have Rail Recruits. Darian has Rail Recruits as his last card, and it's the Evolution. Air Surfer has a matchup advantage, I think, because he's going to end up having a Goblin Barrel, and Darian doesn't have a good response to that. Oh, actually, Darian could go Goblin Gang and Goblins. Truthfully, I think Air Surfer has a good position here, but we'll have to wait and see. Especially since he's got Fire Spirit and Snowball, and then he also ends up having Tesla to go and pull all of the Skeleton Barrels and stuff like that. I think Air Surfer is in a very, very good spot. He's going to have to go Goblin Gang or Goblin. Yeah, he's going to have to go Goblin Gang or Goblins. So much damage. So I don't know if you guys saw that, but Air Surfer purposely placed the Goblin Barrel directly behind the tower when the Evolved Barbarian was going in front of the tower. So then because of that, Darian had to pick, where do I drop my Goblins? In front of the tower to counter the Barbarian, or do I try to stop the Goblins in the back? It was uncomfortable for Darian, to say the least. All right, so Barbarians are split in the back by Air Surfer, and he's also going to go for Dark Goblin right as Darian decides to go for the recruits. Really annoying. Air Surfer is trying to just extract as much elixir as he possibly can from Darian, so Darian cannot build up big pushes. Darian perfectly places the Goblins directly on the Goblin Barrel and finds himself in an advantageous position where a lot of stuff is going and flowing at Air Surfer. The recruits are coming down. Evo Barbs are also going to be on the field. Dark Goblin locks onto the tower, and it seems like chaos was barely avoided. This Dark Goblin needs to die for Darian to be able to make anything happen, but still not enough. I don't like Darian's position because he has to cycle two Royal Recruits right now to be able to get his push going. Darian, this push with recruits right now that he's about to do is going to do nothing. 0. This recruits will get denied because it's not going to charge. It's not going to be that scary. The next set of recruits is what really matters. Darian just wants to play evenly right now. He's hoping that this doesn't take a tower, but he's just hoping that it's able to do, like, not lose him the game. That's what Darian's going for right now. Snowball clutches up, and yeah, because the recruit's not charging in the right, it's not as scary, right? But it is locking onto the tower. This is where Darian needs to make his big push. If he can recruit and actually make a push, this is what he needs. Wait, skeletons and goblins, though. He's going to have to Goblin Barrel on defense. Darian's going Goblin Gang in the right. The Fire Spirit will be able to clean up, but what the heck? Darian, are you kidding me? You broke through without the evolved Royal Recruits. How did he do that?
Not able to get that rocket down because the absolute insane dual lane pressure.
How did he do that?
I'm speechless. I don't even know. That was insane.
Do you think it was it obviously had to be the rocket, and Darian knew that.
That's insane. That's actually such good gameplay. Darian somehow won with like the most tattered army ever. He did not even have Royal Recruits. He barely killed the Dark Goblin. And killing that Dark Goblin on the left-hand side let Darian make something happen and go in for the Skeleton Barrel and then force out more Elixir. And then it was just like a never-ending snowball of momentum.
These are the MVP of the day. Every single game, they're connecting for massive damage. Supercell, please nerf.
Nerf Wall Breakers.
Wall Breaker is connecting every time. And then Royal Recruits again. They run it back with the same decks. All right, so Darian pushed it to a game 3 right now.
Always getting through.
We'll have to wait and see how this works.
They just evaporate on the arena halfway through to the tower. Like, they just never make it.
Seriously insane right now.
Wall Breakers again. Once again, Goblin Drills, fast cycle, but kind of
Poison comes down, gets guaranteed value, cleans up the Musketeer. 4-for-4 trade. Bad trade for Darian. Darian's going to have to make something happen here with the Goblin Drill. Wait, the Musketeer didn't die? How did it run out of the poison?
Unpredictable strategies where you can kind of catch your point.
Spear Goblin always gets a hit on the tower, even if it's at 0 HP, if you guys did not know. Spear Goblin always hits the tower there. So you have to make sure that you body block it. There's certain cards like Fly Machine or Spear Goblins, or even Magic Archer, that will hit the tower no matter how healthy they are. As long as the tower is getting targeted by that, it will take the tower shot. Or the tower will get hit by it every time, no matter what. So Royal Recruits, as soon as they lose their shield, the evolved ones, they start charging. And they can charge relentlessly, so they're going to charge again. So they get their first charge, but then they continue to charge on the second time too. The charge just gets reset. They unlock the ability to charge as soon as they lose their shields. Right now, I don't know if I like Air Surfer's matchup. I actually like Darian's a bit more. So Air Surfer doesn't have a good way of killing guards. He does not have a good way of killing Goblin Drill. And he also is playing into a bomb tower when Darian is going to be running a deck that's really fast cycle. Darian's even got Snowball for the Royal Delivery. I think, guys, prediction? I think Darian wins. I think Darian wins this. As long as he plays his best. He goes in for guards, making a prediction on wall breakers that don't come down. Oh no. Those guards really needed to go down on wall breakers, but he didn't get them. Now wall breakers are coming through. Does Darian have anything? He can go for a knight. That should full counter the wall breakers. Bomb tower comes down in preparation for the recruits. I don't know. That was kind of sketchy for Darian because now he has to deal with evolved Royal Recruits again. He does have guards and Electro Spirit. The Electro Spirit's great against the bats. He's going to drop the Electro Spirit early. He's going to go guards directly on the miner, but the miner still locks onto the tower. He poisons with the drill. Wallbreaker's coming down on defense, meaning that he can't use them on offense with the recruits right now. Bats will still get countered by the Electro Spirit. Bomb tower's coming down on the recruits on the right. There's still one recruit on the left. It's not going to charge because it doesn't have enough health. Bats aren't going to get tanked for. But, oh no, the recruit's going to lock onto the tower. Darian frantically flails a snowball down, pushing it all back and saving the situation. But the poison is going to do a lot of damage. Darian's evolved knight isn't even going to be on offense, though. Darian needs that evolved knight to be tanking for the Goblin Drill. I mean, both those wall breakers should connect to the bomb tower, so that's good for Darian. Instead of it, like, locking near his tower. The bomb tower staying healthy is extremely good.
down.
I mean, Darian's finding his way back. The Electro Spirit, though, I don't know. Cycling to the Electro Spirit and then getting bats from the opponent. I thought the Electro Spirit wouldn't bait out bats, but Air Surfer is trying to stop any bit of damage he can. Okay. Miner on defense. Wow. All right, so Darian's leaking Elixir. Darian just leaked like a solid like 1 or 2. Or probably like 1. That's kind of scary for him. The bats need to not lock onto the bomb tower, but they do. Oh, Darian's in such a tough spot. I don't think Darian defends this. Maybe he's going to go for a snowball and then a poison and still somehow salvage it. This Miner's coming down. Oh, such a close match, but Darian barely loses. Wow, Air Surfer is just at a different level, guys. That was just incredible gameplay. That was insane. So if you guys saw the difference there, Darian had to defend with Evolved Knights. Darian had to defend the entire time. He lost the bomb tower, so he had to cycle back to another bomb tower on defense. Meanwhile, Air Surfer was chipping away with miners every single time on the tower. The fact that Air Surfer, despite not having the best matchup, constantly spammed on offense in the final stages of the game, was able to get that chip damage that he needed to close out the match and win it. He went in for miners and poisons, which eventually ended up ending the game. And Darian wasn't able to go in for as many goblin drills and poisons because he was so concentrated on defense.
It really just came down to that Evo Knight. Did you see that Evo Knight? He played in front for the recruit.
Yeah, he's talking about the Evo Knight, I think.
I mean, maybe we'll see in the replay here.
Yeah, let's take a look back on these.
Oh, we're not talking about the same game. Yeah. The first game, the Evo Knight just did so much damage.
Not a lot to write home about, Shane,
Air Surfer is a great minor poison player. Air Surfer is not just a great minor poison player. Air Surfer is one of the best Clash Royale cycle players in the entire world.
Solid choice but there for Air Surfer.
People saying that Evo recruits are bad have to rethink. Yeah, no, Evo recruits are really good.
Coming in with a massive push right side, and the mighty Miner.
The thing about Evo recruits is they can still take a tower that's at 2,000 HP. So you can't ignore the other side either. Like Darian had to go for a really high bomb tower in the left-hand side to stop the recruits there. Meanwhile, he also had to defend the minor poisons on the right-hand side.
That minor distraction.
Yeah,
It was actually disgusting.
Take this as a note for everyone back home watching. Whenever you have counter pushing units, always play your miner in the back of the tower because that is what allows.
Petition to for the community to rename the recruits George Washington.
You're learning things on broadcast today, Shane.
Even George Washington couldn't have defended that. I know, right?
Right? We're all learning together. Quick look at the stats. A win by Air Surfer, albeit it was a close one.
That was one of the closest, most intense matches I've watched in a while.
Let's start with you here with the game 1 deck, because you said it was lopsided, and it certainly was.
Oh yeah, absolutely. You had the Executioner, the Tornado, the Log, the Bomb Tower. Just
wild games.
The entirety of the Swarm from Darian, even the Lightning Spell. Hitting that mortar, the tower, plus the Skeleton King.
Guys, we are making the stream. We're doing it.
Literally no way.
Doing it live. Role play better than Magnus Carlsen. Yeah. These games have been intense today, guys. The SirTag curse is real. I know. My best friend just lost, bro. My best friend just lost. I like Air Surfer too, by the way. I've played events with Air Surfer on my team before.
You know, it's so difficult to defend.
I think Air Surfer is probably the best online player in this tournament because he's got the most experience, and he's just so calm, cool, and collect when he's playing online. I think he actually is the best player in this tournament for sure. He's so scary. He's just such a scary player. That game there, it should not have been a win for Air Surfer. I'm telling you guys right now, that should not have been a win. He's just so disgustingly good.
Game 3, of course, we just saw it. Talk me through these decks.
I mean, it just came down to that minor.
He forced the opponent on defense the entire time. And if you can't drop offensive cards, you can't get damage.
Getting that additional source of damage, just giving that edge to Air
Surfer. SirTag, how's your day? It's been completely captivated by Clash Royale and an early workout in the morning. How are the 2 Dark Goblins in the Game 2 deck for Darian? Probably a mistake by the person that did the graphics. But
qualified for the Grand Finals. Only a week away, by the way. September 30th, same place at 3
he had 2 bad matchups. He deserves to have this one good matchup.
our bracket.
Yeah.
Air Surfer has moved on. Darian will move down to the lower bracket. Of course, we're going to be taking a look at Cheesecake and Sugar Frenzy in just a moment. But
You
let's
guys are
take a
memeing.
lower bracket
You're like
because
telling me all
we
these
have some
people
fun
and presidents and what
matchups,
decks they would be
see
playing.
who qualifies down in the lower
Speak your
bracket.
barber to me. Your hair is luxurious. Hey, thanks, man. Yeah, my barber is in Seattle. So.
Once, so Katori Adam down at the bottom, but Darian
Do you ever miss playing professionally or competing, or is it draining? It's definitely draining. For me, practicing all the time and then not getting the guaranteed result is sad. For me, being able to guarantee that I can make fun videos that I'm really proud of after a lot of time spent, that's fulfilling for me. I'd rather do that.
Because the Galaxy Z Fold 5, not only do I have it in hand, and it's a 7.6-inch screen is gigantic. You already heard
Look at the 7.6-inch screen, guys. Hell yeah.
OJ, who's over there hanging out at his watch party, but it also has dual
OP.
viewing, so you can actually do way more with your screen with the Samsung Galaxy Z Fold.
I hope they
5.
don't
Drag and
like
drop
go to
photos
me.
into a text
They're gonna do it. They're gonna pan to me.
Side by side. You can even stream videos while you're.
But yeah, how you doing? I'm doing
right?
great, man.
So
I'm
what you
vibing.
can do with this thing, go check
No
it
clown
out.
at all? No, I've never seen him before. I've seen him on ladder, but I haven't played against him.
That link will populate for you. Or if you want to make it easy, just head down to the link in the description below if you're hanging out with us on YouTube. And by the way,
The origami phone. Yeah.
Players qualified for this event. Well,
It's actually one of my favorite phones
and,
that I've ever
if you
seen.
want to play Clash Royale, it's free in the Android Google Play Store. Go download it right now.
What's the best deck for League 6, brother? Any of the decks on my YouTube channel that you have leveled up?
Out their videos as well on the topic of Clash Royale.
Is my deck good? Firecracker, Hog Rider, Valk, Ice Spirit, Inferno Tower, Snowball, Goblin Gang, Log. Goblin Gang has no place on that deck because you don't have any other log bait. I mean, I guess you have Firecracker, but it'd be better to just run Goblins or Guards. Goblin Gang isn't as good. The Guards at least have a shield so they can survive a log. You'll get something else out of them. Personally, I would go and run something else with like Evolve Firecracker and then also like not Evolve Firecracker. You could run Evolve Firecracker or you could run Evolve Knight instead of Valkyrie. I would have to run one of those evolutions. And then also in the deck, instead of running the Goblin Gang, I would run Goblins probably. I would pick Goblins, Skeletons, or Guards. I would not run the Goblin Gang. And then your deck would probably be like a 7.5, 8 out of 10. It's pretty good. But you also don't end up having a big spell, so then your Hog Rider can't break through buildings. So I'd probably replace the Log or the Snowball with a Lightning, an Earthquake, or a Fireball. Hopefully that helps you out. Guys, we're going to be casting soon. I'm hyped. Get ready. Are y'all ready for me to start casting? It's gonna be vibes. They're telling me that I get to cast. All right, so we're gonna switch to the casting right now, guys. Hopefully it works out.
Work their way through these kind of open qualifiers. But today, right, we only have 16 players, and we're just trying to get down to 8. Now, we've got some incredible players, but 16 to 8 doesn't sound like too tall of a task.
All right, I lied to you guys. We're gonna wait a little bit. We're gonna wait a short bit. How to get the Clash Royale collab emotes? We vibing, man. Everyone else leaks elixir while watching SirTag's leak shaving cream. I guess I shave every day, bro. Goodbye, SirTag. We'll miss you reading chat. Thank you for the interaction. Yes, sir. Anyone 1v1, please? We'll be waiting for Puerto Rico. What is the best Skeleton Evo deck? Are you going to be casting with OJ? Yeah, I will be casting with OJ. All right, guys, I'll be back in a bit. We're gonna take a short break, and then we're gonna be casting live. So it should be a fun time. All right, I'll be right back really quick. We have 2 minutes, as you guys can see, 1:42. Should be a good time.
Gonna take down every
folks, we are back with the $100,000 Galaxy Battle Superverse, brought to you by Samsung Galaxy and Supercell, of course, all powered by the Galaxy Z Fold 5, the Clash Royale Qualifier Finals. We're here. We're doing it. 2 players have already qualified for September 30th, the Grand Finals. $100,000 on the line, and it's right around the corner. Only 1 week away, same place, different time. 3 p.m. Central Time is when we're going live, so plenty of time to watch all of those grand finals. You're going to get a chance to see all the creators that are casting this event and the other 2 events that we've seen in the past with Clash of Clans and Brawl Stars. They're going to be competing this time around. You're not going to want to miss it. But I've got to welcome in one of our new casters. We got Juicy J back, of course, but SirTag is with us as well. Tag, my friend, good to have you here. How are your watch parties?
Dude, I've done fantastic. There's been so many fun games. I cannot believe the match of Darian versus Air Surfer. That had me on the edge of my seat the entire time.
Yeah, I didn't think I'd be on the edge of my seat, to be very clear. With all that Juicy J was kind of touting Air Surfer's experience and skill, I thought it was going to be a blowout, but Darian really put up a good fight. I mean, Juicy, we're about to go into this next match. We've got Cheesecake versus Sugar Frenzy. Now, I know Shane was really polling for Cheesecake, and they played fantastic. Do you have any thoughts on this next matchup?
Honestly, my only thought is Cheesecake's got to have this. I know who Cheesecake is. He's a great player. Definitely been in the scene for a long time. Sugar, I don't know anything about him. And as a caster for CRL, if I don't know something about you, maybe it's your first time in a tournament. So that could be very possible here.
Hey, something to prove, though, right? Little chip on your shoulder. The underdog mentality can go a long way. And Tag, we did see that sometimes when you throw random things at the wall, crazy decks, they can actually come out to maybe surprise your opponent. Spam the bridge, whatever you need to do. Take a map win. All of a sudden you look up, all of a sudden you've won the round, right? Anything can happen.
Yeah, truthfully. And honestly, Sugar Frenzy is one of the best Royal Recruits players in the entire world. So he's definitely someone to look out for. Even though he's not as well known, he's extremely good at what he does. So it'll be interesting to see when he pulls out the Royal Recruits, if it's going to be game 1 or game 2. But I expect it to be pretty early on. And maybe Cheesecake won't be prepared.
There you go. I like it. Game is ready, gentlemen. Juicy J, take it away.
Alrighty, hop into game 1 versus Cheesecake at the bottom, Sugar Frenzy at the top. Both leaking Elixir. I mean, Tag, could this maybe be 2 heavy decks? No, we see the Goblins in the back.
Yeah, so we end up seeing the Goblins in the back first play, and we're seeing Royal Hogs potentially from Cheesecake, or, oh, actually he's going to go for Royal Giant.
Wow.
Can you believe that he has the Zappies with that?
Zappies, Royal Giant, maybe he's using that Skeleton King version. It's definitely not something we see as often anymore, usually the quicker cycle version. Speaking of the quicker cycle version, we actually might have that at the top here, maybe an RG Mir matchup.
Yeah, who do you think has the matchup advantage here? Because I feel that the Monk could potentially go and block the Fisherman from making some good pulls, and it could be a little bit sketchy. Also, I'm sure you've seen this before where Fishermen's are in the middle, both pulling each other and stopping each other from getting the actual pulls on the RG. It's going to be a sketchy situation if that happens.
Yeah, there's a lot of mind games of the Fisherman here. Overall, I feel like the matchup really lies in which spell Sugar Frenzy has. If he has a Fireball, that's going to make it very doable for him to be able to break through these Zappies. But even then, the Tombstone plus Zappies and Fisherman combo, probably a little bit better on defense than the no-building defense from Sugar.
Yeah, I think you have to give a little bit of an advantage for the Tombstone. Skeleton King going down on the right-hand side to go and defend against the Royal Giant, and it looks like Cheesecake is trying to go and pull the RG to the other side. Mother Witch will end up giving him 1 pig, and he's connecting in the left-hand lane too. So I wonder if, because there's a building, does Sugar Frenzy try to go opposite lane so then he doesn't go directly into a matchup that's more difficult?
Yeah, opposite lane would make sense. Double Elixir kind of saving Sugar here, I feel like. That was a pretty scary push. Double Elixir comes in, though. Tower down to 1587 already, though. And I really like what Cheesecake's done in this match, being pretty aggressive with those RGs. A lot of the time, if you're more aggressive with the RG, then you're going to get more Evo RGs on the board. And those Evo cards are so good in the current meta.
Yeah, it's hard to not get value with evolutions. One thing that we do have to note is they're both dropping Royal Giants in the back and slow rolling them instead of dropping them directly at the river. I see that that's to build up bigger pushes or maybe get to a second Royal Giant so you can drop that evolution. Wow, Cheesecake gets through, as you said before. Not having that building is really hurting Sugar Frenzy right now. What do you think about the slow roll Royal Giants compared to the Royal Giants at the river?
Honestly, I think that's a great call out. I honestly think that you should slow roll a regular Royal Giant, but play a Evo Royal Giant at the bridge. That's my opinion on it. I think when you play the RG in the back, the whole point is to get that Evo RG, and Cheesecake understands that. He goes for the Evo RG bridge, but he's not able to get a hit. But look at that Monk getting so much value.
Yeah, the Monk giving the 3-card cycle too, so you could even get back faster to that evolved Royal Giant, which is a nice benefit. The Skeleton King getting pulled really close by the Fisherman, so both powers can finish it off. And then I think that Cheesecake just really is confident about his position, cycling all the Zappies and splitting them up too, instead of dropping them all on one side. We haven't seen a big spell yet. What do you think about that? Could he have dropped it on the same side because maybe there's a lightning? Oh, geez.
Look at this Evo RG on tower. It's getting so much damage. It's just pushing everything back. That was a really bad defense from Cheesecake. I honestly think it started when he went for those Zappies in the back. You need all 3 Zappies for that defense. But here comes the counterburst, the right side.
This has been one of the most dynamic defenses ever. The Electro Spear chaining onto every single skeleton from the Skeleton King. And the Royal Giant coming through in the right as well. We've had a really controlled game now, Juicy, and it's spiraled into chaos.
Wait, does he have the lightning? There it is. GG.
Oh, wow.
Sugar Frenzy kind of getting an upset here, taking game 1. You know, like Coach said, maybe a chip on his shoulder, something to prove. Not the best matchup, especially with that lightning. The Zappies should get infinite value here. But that one mistake from Cheesecake, playing the Zappies in the back, 2 to the right, allowing for that RG connection, that was brutal.
Yeah, I noticed that, and I didn't see a spell that was scary for Cheesecake. I was like, wait, why did he do that? And that was it. And it's the $100,000 prize pool, man. That's like, Cheesecake is one of the best players in the world. He's so good, but the mental just slipped slightly there, and that's all it takes is just one.
Absolutely. Knights on the defense versus the Miner here. So we see Miner and Cannon Card. I'm not really sure what kind of deck that could be. Cheesecake, maybe with just a standard quick cycle deck. Could be Miner, could be Drill, could be even Hog.
Mortar probably from Sugar Frenzy, right? Or
surely
has to be something similar. And then Cheesecake, we have no clue yet. Poison coming down from Sugar Frenzy, which is interesting. We have seen it with Mortar before, but I'll have to wait and see if that is going to be something different. He could also turn to Royal Recruits because that is his main deck, but he always plays it with Royal Hogs and the standard triple spell one. So I don't know. I guess we'll have to wait and see.
Yeah, I mean, I think you gotta be on the money with the Mortar here. But once again, we see the Executioner coming out versus a Mortar spam like this, and look how much value it's getting already.
Yeah. Wow. That thing is just clobbering the tower. It's crazy because if you use a Tornado with Executioner, even if they drop units behind your Executioner, you can still use that Tornado to like divide it and put it right next to the tower so you can get that damage. Nothing escapes Executioner Tornado anymore.
I know, it's so brutal, and it just does so much damage. Wait a second, the Ice Spirit didn't jump. Wait, oh, he has Evil Knight, though. Evil Knight might bail him out here.
Yeah, as you said, Ice Spirit will typically lock onto a Cannon Cart because the Cannon Cart can't one-shot it. But paired with the Bats, the Cannon Cart and the Bats were able to kill that, so that changed the interaction completely. Unfortunately for Sugar Frenzy, the Evolved Knight did so much damage to his tower and defended and just became an absolute monster.
Can you believe that? Like, he made the biggest mistake of the game. He played an Evo Knight. It bails him out on defense, but it also tanks the Bats for 30 seconds and gets a hit on the tower for some massive damage. That's just ridiculous.
I believe it, but I don't want to, okay?
Well said, Tag. Well said.
Great Ice Spirit and Knight there, just a body block so the bomb tower would stay alive a little bit longer so the mortar wouldn't lock onto the tower. That's just such high-level gameplay. Oh,
yo, speaking of high-level gameplay, we have an Executioner NATO getting 3 shots on the tower. Cheesecake absolutely just dominating here in game 2.
Cheesecake's like, dude, I think I'll have my dessert now, and eats the entire tower. So he's looking like he's in a pretty good position. Minor Poison can close out this game too. It's really in Sugar Frenzy's court to make some massive play with the Evolved Mortar. He's got to go now.
Here comes Evolve Mortar. Bomb Tower in the defense, though. Only 8 seconds left. Evolve Mortar does a lot of damage, but once again, the Evo Knight back in cycle. Gonna lock everything up, and that's gonna be GG's in game 2. We are heading into a game 3, ladies and gentlemen.
You know what, Juicy? I think the recruits are coming out, and without Executioner and Bomb Tower, oh, I would be so scared if I was Cheesecake. You're playing against one of the best Royal Recruits players in the entire world right now, and you don't have the 2 best counters in the game. What are you going to do?
That's like one of the best calls I've ever heard. That's such a good call out. He's got the Fireball as well. Maybe we even see a Recruits mirror matchup here. Would you give Sugar the advantage here being the one trick?
Yeah, I would. I think it's a huge advantage. He's running his main deck right now. I'm scared. But there is a bomber in the deck for Cheesecake. Do you even see that often?
No, but he knows that he's used the Bomb Tower and Executioner. He knows his opponent is going to use Pig, so he brings the delivery and the bomber just for a second, just kind of, I guess, precautionary action here. Actually, now that I think of it, every single game in this best of 3 has had a good recruits counter.
Yeah, dude, he knew what he was matched into and built a deck to beat it. It does. The Golden Knight walks onto the tower. Juicy, how do you feel about your hero?
A lot of people say I look like the Golden Knight, so I can't help but be so happy to see that Golden Knight connection. But look at this Pigs plus Bomber connection left inside. Tower's down to half health already.
Wow, this is just an amazing deck construction, having Royal Delivery, Fire Spirit, and Bomber all in the same deck. That is amazing. I wonder what his big spell is. Do you have any thoughts on what the last 2 cards Cheesecake could be surprising us with?
Wow, he's got Valkyrie too. There's no way. This is the snipe of all snipes. The only thing that could make this better versus Recruits Pigs is if he had a Fireball as this last card. I'm not sure if he used Fireball in previous best of 3 or not, though.
Yeah. What do you think about if you main a deck like this and you're like infamous for playing it? Do you think you just don't play it because people build your entire decks to counter it, or do you still play it? Like Parsa, I remember ended up playing his Lobhound Freeze deck. I guess it's just such a tough thing.
It's a great question. I mean, honestly, what I was talking about earlier with Shane was you use your one trick after you've seen your opponent use counters that counter your one trick, which is what he did, though. He waited for the Executioner to come out. He waited for the Bomb Tower out. But little did we know that Cheesecake's got Bomber Delivery Valkyrie in store.
Yeah, to be fair, the Mortar Evolution does pair very nicely with this, and it's a creative deck. I love the fact that duels bring out this level of uniqueness. If you jumped into a ladder game, you'd never see anything like this, but this is an incredible composition from Cheesecake. And the Mortar Evolution just has so much health, too. It's hard to kill, so if you can't get on top of it with a Golden Knight Dash or a Fly Machine, you're going to Fireball it, or what's the strategy?
Honestly, it's a great question. This is going to be game over, ladies and gentlemen, though we have Cheesecake taking the 2-1 game of Clash Royale. And honestly, I don't know if Cheesecake has a coach. I don't know if he's picking these decks himself. But either way, props whoever is picking the decks here, because this was an absolute masterclass in deck picking here. Beautiful plays all around.
What a fun one. Tag, I mean, what a fun win and a fun matchup, right? Again, another matchup, on desk, we were talking about it. We didn't think necessarily would go to game 3. And at the end of the day, not only did it go to game 3, but it was close. And we saw the massive outplay at the end with Cheesecake. So cool to see.
Truly one of the most, spectacular snipes I've ever seen. I've never thought that he would have that type of counter. I was so excited when I got to see the Royal Recruits, and then it just ended up getting wiped immediately.
Yeah, we got to go back and clip your reaction to when the Bombers came out, because that was just pure gold. Let's take a look at the replays, though, and Juicy, walk me through some of these.
Absolutely. We looked at game 1 here. It was an RG mirror matchup. I will stick with what I said. Cheesecake definitely should win this. He had the early damage lead. The Zappies are the key. Once those Zappies were in a cycle, though, we see right here is a lot more difficult for him to defend. That Evil Royal Giant is so good at taking these towers down.
Yeah, very fun to watch and Tag as we see kind of this next matchup close out. I mean, walk me through some of this. And I think one of the things that's worth noting, too, that Sugar Frenzy really put up a good fight. And I think it was the misplay maybe from Cheesecake at the beginning that Sugar Frenzy was able to actually capitalize on.
Yeah, so in the Executioner match, Cheesecake ended up just destroying with Executioner Tornado. Is just a great deck pick. The last match was incredible from the route of Cheesecake's deck selection. We had no clue that you could even build something with a Valkyrie, Royal Delivery, Fire Spirit, and Bomber. This is a deck that has never been seen in Clash Royale before, so the creativity was off the charts, and obviously it caught Sugar Frenzy off guard.
Yeah, I'd love to see it. Of course, taking a quick look at the stats, you can see the average tower damage way up for Cheesecake. Of course, grabbing both towers at the end in Game 3 and dominating with some ingenuity. Let's take a look at the decks, though. Game number 1 was a blast to watch, and yes, maybe a misplay, Juicy. Talk me through these decks, though.
Yeah, so like I said during broadcast, that last card from Sugar is so important. If you have the Fireball, then you can kill Zappies. You can kill the Mother Witch very easily for even elixir trades. But with the Lightning, it's negative elixir trades, and it's only going to target the 3 most healthy cards in its area. So the Zappies are so good. Almost the natural counter to the Lightning here in this game 1. But Cheesecake kind of choked it. I mean, it was actually pretty insane to watch that Lightning almost get no value, but still able to win with the Evil RG.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Well, let's take a look at deck 2. Tag, walk me through this one.
Yeah, so the Executioner Tornado really made a huge difference there. As you guys saw, whenever the Miner was coming through, it was slowly but surely getting damage for Cheesecake. But when he was able to use the Tornado to line up Sugar Frenzy's units near the tower, then you started to see like thousands of damage roll through. And because they were both using a Miner Poison archetype, when someone gets 1,000 damage, the damage is going to be relatively similar, and the lead is going to be held until the very end. So Cheesecake just ended up having a really good deck combo and played it perfectly.
Shout out that Evo Knight, by the way, going crazy on the bailout into some push at the end as well, getting a little bit of some offensive pressure. But game 3, this is the crazy one. Juicy, take this away and talk me through this deck pick.
All right, so if y'all are back home just tuning into your first Clash Royale stream, the reason why this is so ridiculous is that Bomber, the Valkyrie, and the Roll Delivery, and even the Fire Spirit, they all do splash damage. They're all redundant in most deck picks. But you need splash damage versus a Recruits Pigs deck. So Cheesecake, knowing that Sugar Frenzy was going to come with his best deck, this Recruits Pigs, he puts all of them all in the same deck to have as many counters as humanly possible. And the Phoenix for the Flying Machine is just icing on the cake. There's almost nothing that Sugar Frenzy could have done to win this game after this beautiful deck pick from Cheesecake.
Great shout. So much fun to watch. But if you're a big fan of Sugar Frenzy, job's not done. Still in it, just down in the lower bracket. But congratulations, by the way. Cheesecake has joined our other winners and has qualified for our September 30th Grand Finals. $100,000 on the line. And Ian, 77, Air Surfer, and Cheesecake have all made it. And they'll be competing against you two, by the way. But let's take a look at the lower bracket. Here's our matchups. Of course, Darian against Future. We've already talked about this, but it's Sugar Frenzy going against Luminary, who we haven't seen on the broadcast yet, but Luminary did take down Parsa, SirTag.
Yeah, Luminary is actually one of the best Mortar players in the entire world. He typically will run either the Mortar Evolution or he'll run Evolved Barbarians at all points in time and then just run Mortar bait decks. So it'll be interesting to see what he pulls out, if he's going to be running more so cycle decks or if he's going to fall back on his roots and potentially get countered just like Sugar Frenzy was.
Yeah, well, we've got one more winner that can actually walk out of the upper bracket and qualify without losing a single match, by the way. The goal, I said this before, I'll say it again, win 2 before you lose 2. So one more that can make it through the upper bracket, and then it's all down to the lower bracket and do or die mode. So it's Droy versus Dr. Puerto Rico. Juicy J, what do you got for me?
Honestly, I've played Dr. Puerto Rico on ladder before. He's a great player. I'm pretty sure he uses a crazy deck if I'm not wrong. Droy, aka Mr. Cena, a little bit more versed in the scene. Definitely recognize that name, playing a few tournaments. I gotta give Droy a slight advantage here going into this best of 3.
Okay, Tag, are you going to go with Droy as well, continuing to prove that Cena is the better player?
I do think Cena is the better player, but I like Royal Recruits, so I am 100% going for Dr. Puerto Rico. He plays Royal Recruits and spams savagely at the river at all points in time, so I want to see some intense games.
Hey, the bridge spam, it's worked, right? We saw it on broadcast. It does work. I like your Tag. Well, I'm excited to see what happens here. I believe the game is ready. So, Juicy J, Tag, take it away.
Let's roll.
Alrighty, hopping in. Selecting decks. Game 1. Any cards are available. Good luck coming out from both players.
Be Royal Recruits right out of the start, and we are definitely seeing a more defensive-oriented deck from Droy, showcasing the Ice Spirit. Now with Miner, I don't know if it's going to be Royal Recruits. What direction do you think this is headed, Juicy?
Honestly, great question, but I think it's got to be the Mega Knight Miner Wall Breakers deck, featuring a Firecracker, maybe even a Prince here, Earthquake, Mortar, and probably a Hog Rider from Droy. Overall, I would say that Dr. Puerto Rico having a slight matchup advantage here, as long as he has those arrows for the opposing guards.
Of course. Also having those, oh my gosh, I was going to say, not having an amazing answer to bats besides like Ice Spirit, but the snowball comes down and Droy finds himself in a very easy defense. I wonder if the Firecracker will stay on the map for a while or not. That's the scary thing. We saw that with Ian before, where the Firecracker just nonchalantly just chilled on the map and sprayed the tower with a ridiculous amount of damage. So I think that might be the key defining feature if you can keep that range card alive long enough.
Yeah, I mean, that's a great call. The Firecracker, especially when you don't have a big spell or at least arrows, almost always getting really good value. And Droid not having either of those. So maybe you're right about that Firecracker. Going to be able to get some solid value.
Another thing that was interesting is because he cycled the Musketeer and guards on the left-hand side, he did not have a good way of stopping that mortar. Like there was really, like keeping that mortar alive, there's really no good way of doing that. It just took damage from the wall breakers. So it's wow.
How many Hog Rider shots did he get there? Tower's already down to 768. At least the Ghost got some hits on the left-hand side. And he has a snowball for defense. And we talk about how this matchup could be good for Puerto Rico, but Droy utilizing that evil mortar with just having a great start here in the single elixir.
So the Mega Knight's taking the damage from the mortar, so the Firecracker can start to chip away on top of the mortar. I wonder if this Mega Knight's going to accomplish anything, though. I think that the bats should just get cleaned up by Snowball and then not necessarily accomplish what he wants. He's going to have to go for Wall Breakers for all his damage.
Yeah, Wall Breaker's not going to connect, though. Mortar's going to eat that. And then, lastly, just once again, I feel like Dr. Puerto Rico would have played his arrows by now for these guards. Maybe that's why he's having a hard time breaking through. Speaking of breaking through, this Hog right inside is taking a tower down to 0. Now the question is, Dr. Puerto Rico, can you take this tower?
He's going to go all in with the Wall Breakers. The Firecracker's coming through. There's an Earthquake coming down on defense to shatter the rest of the stuff. And the Evolved Mortar with super high health, barely pulling things back. The Royal Ghost does lock onto it.
Firecracker! Oh! Oh my god, the Firecracker shot! Literally millimeters away from the tower, but it doesn't get there in time.
And the worst part about it is, Juicy, you know that decay was absolutely imminent. That tower was forfeit. In a situation where you're running Mega Knight and you take a tower against a mortar deck, you're always going to have an advantage.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. If Dr. Puerto Rico could have just got that tower in that last millisecond, he would have come back and he probably would have gone to win that game. But that's not what happened. Maybe in another universe, but not in this one. Droy taking game 1. Puerto Rico needs to get the reverse sweep if he wants to survive here.
Yeah, so Droy, last game, we saw Hog Rider. Are we going to start to see some minor poison come out of him? Dr. Puerto Rico still isn't even running his main deck. So he has put himself in an awkward position where he's trying to put himself outside of the comfort zone and not be as predictable.
Did you see that pre-log? That has to be in replay. It keeps these bats alive, allowing the double wall breaker connection, and Puerto Rico calls the good game already. Droy with the absolutely disgusting plays in game 2.
Yeah, and he's going to build on that too. He's going to be able to have a lot of elixir here for the recruits and get counter push immediately after trouncing the Knight and Musketeer. That's a hefty 7 elixir investment on the left-hand side that just got deleted, recouping his investment from the recruits immediately.
Wow, and it looks like Dr. Puerto Rico is just straight up giving up here, allowing Droy to take this. I mean, Droy so confident in this best of 3. I mean, after that game 1, how can you not be confident? It's like, wow, I have fate on my side with Firecracker not killing my tower there. So just going so aggressive in the early game here. Those Evo recruits put in the work to finish off the game as well.
You gotta say, like, if you have that game 1, it opens up the leeway for you to make those predictions with the log without having that scare factor of like, oh, if I lose this game, I'm out.
That's a great call.
Gentlemen, I grabbed a sip of water. All of a sudden, we're already done. I mean, Droid just dominated. And, you know, I feel like sometimes that scoreline doesn't really tell the full story, right? Like, game 1 really was close. And I think I'm with Juicy. I actually think Dr. Puerto Rico might win that matchup if that firecracker shot is not just floating around in some sort of like superverse way up in the sky somewhere, milliseconds away from connecting and sending to overtime and likely sending the win towards Dr. Puerto Rico. A wild game 1, but an absolute stomp of a game 2. Let's look back on it. Juicy, kind of take these replays away and walk me through what happened.
Hog Rider on the right here, and it was great pressure from Droy. He did a great job of realizing the massive matchup disadvantage, and once again, going for that early aggression, taking the tower, and check out this push. Okay, we have Meg Knight, Ghost, Evil Firecracker. The arrows prediction come in, do not hit the guards. 3 seconds, 2, Firecracker shot. It's almost there, but it doesn't get there in time. And looking at game 2, Puerto Rico, I mean, I don't blame him for literally just being just not in his comfort and just being upset, honestly, after that game 1. Kind of just gave up here after a tough start, and that was that. Droid played so fantastically in this game 2 as well with the prediction log. Like Tag said, that prediction log, you don't make that play unless you're super comfortable with your position after game 1.
Yeah, and it's funny. Here's a quick look at the stats, and we talk about decks, right? Like Dr. Puerto Rico didn't run his main deck in the second, and it was Droid's immediate push. It was like over 3/4 of the health of the tower or something like that. That kind of forced Dr. Puerto Rico to give up. So let's take a look at deck 1, though, and Tag, I'll let you walk me through this one because, yes, a win by Droid, but it was a close match.
Yeah, so the Hog Rider did devastating damage to Dr. Puerto Rico, because if you look at his deck, the only way he can effectively counter it is dropping the Mega Knight or the Prince, and they both cost 5 or 7 elixir. So you find yourself in a situation where you're trying to defend with bats, they're going to get snowballed. Firecracker, Miner, Royal Ghost, they don't really counter the Hog Rider, so we saw opportunities where Droid just did devastating damage. Unfortunately, Droid just wasn't actually able to get into a spot where he was scared. He ended up winning that last bit of the game, and he's just so confident the second game too. After that first match where he was able to win it, second match he just carried away and played super leisurely, where he's like pre-logging and being able to look at the matchup, knowing that Dr. Puerto Rico wasn't even running a deck that he was scared about. He's like, okay, if I play against recruits, I got to have that bomb tower in there. So you saw him build his entire deck combination where he had bomb tower and Valkyrie so he could beat Dr. Puerto Rico's main deck. And it was an absolute beatdown of a match, despite Dr. Puerto Rico still being one of the best players in the world.
Yeah, and I want to give a second here to really give Droy his flowers. Very well done. And congratulations, of course, because, Droy, you've qualified for the Grand Finals a week away, September 30th, 3 p.m. Central Time. You're there, and you're competing. The question is who with? Certainly not these two gentlemen that are joining me in the booth, but instead some of our other creators out in the Superverse. But we have finalized our upper bracket winners. Ian, Air Surfer, Cheesecake, and Droy. They went lossless. They went perfect. They walked their way to the finish line, and they have earned their spots. But now it's time to head to the lower bracket, gentlemen. Here it is, our final 4 matchups of the day. An opportunity to prove yourself. You've got to grab 2 wins before you grab 2 losses. And right now, they're 1-1, an opportunity to move on. As we take a quick glance at this, Juicy J, who are kind of some of these key matchups you're looking at saying like, uh-oh, I think that's going game 3 no matter what?
Game 3 no matter what? That's a tough one. Honestly, I gotta flip the script on you a little bit. I feel like there's a lot of favorites in all of these matchups. We have Clown, super strong player, did so well in CRL. Luminary, like Tag said, one of the best mortar players in the world. Darian, super well known in the community. And we have Nate. I mean, if there's going to be the close match, it's got to be Nate versus Adam. This is the closest one of the day, but I got to give Nate a pretty solid edge here.
Okay, so potentially even 2-0s for the rest of the day is what you're telling me, Juicy J. I like that from you. A little spicy take from you. But Tag, I think we've got an opportunity here to head into our lower qualifier first matchup, right? Our lower bracket. We're back with Dr. Puerto Rico, a chance immediately after to prove themselves again and make it to the qualifiers. You've just got to win this matchup. Talk to me about this one. What are we thinking? Dr. Puerto Rico versus Clown.
Yeah, so Dr. Puerto Rico didn't get a chance to play his main deck. I think he's going to jump into it earlier on. He's not going to have that regret of, wow, I am playing against a top-level CRL player, and I'm not playing the decks that I'm comfortable with. I think he's going to try to get that confidence a little bit earlier and then switch it up and run something else later. Clown might be anticipating that. He's just going to likely run some really defensive decks, probably go and stick with the Minor Poison. It's one of those things when you watch someone else beat the person that you're playing against, you might start to copy some of their strategies.
Yeah, sure, absolutely. And Juicy, I know a Clown, a CRL player, didn't end up qualifying this time around, so maybe a chip on their shoulder and is going to try to punch back. What are we thinking?
Absolutely. You know, he's got something to prove here. I mean, this is one of the biggest tournaments this year. So, I mean, let's go and just hop. Wait, sorry, never mind. We're not hopping in the game yet. My bad.
Oh, good. Look, here's the thing, Juicy. I might just step out of the booth. I'm just going to let you do my job for me. 'Cause you're killing it right now. Y'all's casts have sound flawless all the way through, so keep up the good work, gentlemen. And I know we've got some amazing watch parties going on as well over there. OJ and Shane, they're doing their watch parties behind the scenes. We'll check in with them in a little bit. But with this matchup, Dr. Puerto Rico versus Clown, I'm just excited to see the main deck from Puerto Rico, like Tag called out, right? Like, didn't get a chance to see it the last time around. And I know we talk about the kind of chess match that is picking your decks, because when you are a one-trick or when you're specialized in a certain type of deck, everybody expects you to use it. And so you see, like, we saw those air defenses being able to be used on every single matchup. You can't do that every time. Like, you got to stack in one direction at least one time. The question is, when do you do it? So Juicy, when you're playing mind games, you've been here before, you know your matchup. First, second, third, in this sense, Dr. Puerto Rico, when do you throw it?
Honestly, I feel like you throw it first game, because who expects you to play your best deck first game? Or you wait to see some counters. We saw that not work as well today, but that's probably the two type of strategies to go for. Or the kind of secret third strategy, you do a tag set. You never play that deck, and maybe you get yourself in decent situations with maybe other decks with your opponent trying to counter the deck that you're best at.
Yeah, no, it's a great shot. And sometimes it's kind of like rock, paper, scissors, right? Like, if you go in with the strategy, you feel really confident in it. Sometimes you just smash down with that rock right onto your opponent. If you go in trying to, like, react or, like, read, you just overthink it and you end up throwing the game away. And it really felt like that's what happened in the last matchup. Like, I think Dr. Puerto Rico should have just thrown their main deck at second and just risked it all, especially if that's a deck they're really good with. So, Tag, as we go into this matchup, I know you haven't had a chance to talk through this. Talk to me about the meta, because Evo really has changed the game. I know you're a fan of the Evo Knights, so talk to me, or Evo Recruits rather. Talk to me about what you're thinking about this new meta.
Yeah, so the top 3 evolutions in the game are as follows. Evolved Knight is the best one. Second one is going to be Evolved Barbarians. And then
Tag.
third is the Evolved Recruits.
Tag, you're taking the game, so you keep talking about the meta while you watch it unfold in game.
All right, so we see Clown already starting with a Minor. It's looking like it'll probably be Minor Poison. Could potentially be that Executioner Bomb Tower deck. Dr. Puerto Rico, however, is not running Royal Recruits. We see Barbarians, so he might be going in an alternative method, maybe going for a Lava Hound or a Beatdown deck. Juicy, what are you thinking from this?
I mean, you talk about how good the Evil Barbs are in the meta and Evil Knight, and we're seeing them first game. Looking at the deck overall, probably gotta be a Lava Hound deck, right? But is that really what you want to see when you're going up against an Executioner?
Not just that, he's got the Bomb Tower that fully counters the Balloon. He's going to have Tornado, and he's going to have Executioner Ice Spirit, Juicy. And we know he's also got Poison in the deck, too. Dr. Puerto Rico just flew headfirst into a hard counter, but he's got Minor, so there is some maneuverability that he can do to redirect the Executioner.
Yeah, that's a great call out. One of the best plays you can make with a Lava Loon deck that has the Minor in it is play that Minor in the back of the Executioner, making it very difficult for those Executioners to line up. But that's why the Tornadoes in the deck as well. A lot of time we could see some good Tornadoes to make sure the lineup stays accurate on the Executioner's end there.
So the poison's coming down on the Evo Barbs and also an Ice Spirit. That's going to cycle a little bit faster, just dropping 2 cards compared to the Evo Barbs that cost 5 elixir and is only 1. The Miner is going to be tanking for some little bit of pups damage in the right, and it seems like Dr. Puerto Rico is leveling the playing field right now.
Here comes the balloon, the bridge. No execution cycle. He does have the bomb tower. He has the NATO as well. Let's see how good his micro is here on this defense. Hopefully he doesn't mess up this tornado.
Oh, Juicy, you cursed him, man.
Oh, my bad, bro. My bad. Oh, he gets a K2 activation, though. I mean, that's something.
Yeah, I didn't expect that to happen. It looked like it was going straight back towards the tower.
That was insane.
Miner coming down from Clown. It seems like he's not trying to counter push with the Executioner. He's just going towards the left-hand side the entire time. What do you think about that?
You know, I think it makes sense to go for those Executioners like that in the back and early so you can cycle back to multiple. Wow, and double minions coming out from Puerto Rico. I mean, once again, that is just not what you want to see when you're against the Poison and the Executioner here. You want some solidarity in your deck, maybe some sort of a Mega Minion or Phoenix here to deal with those Exes.
Yeah, he had to go for an Ice Spirit or a Tornado there, and he ended up spending a lot of elixir to go and counter that balloon. It's looking pretty good, though, because now he's starting to get the Executioner counter-pushing the side that he wanted.
Yeah.
So Dr. Puerto Rico trying to do some split lane pressure, but then he has to allocate arrows to clean up a 1-health Executioner. That's got to be painful.
For sure. And look at this bomb tower. Just shutting down those Evo Barbs as well. Execution back once again towards the Lava Hound. And you talk about the dual lane pressure from Puerto Rico, and that's what you have to do. Because a lot of the time, it's going to be slightly difficult for Clown to get multiple Executioners on the board. And since that is the only air targeting card, it makes it kind of difficult, but, you know, Clown's got a pretty good cycle, so he's back to 1 already.
Yeah, what you were talking about earlier is cycling the Executioner in the back in the far corner, and then it takes 4 cards to get back to it. So since he's going to have Ice Spirit, Miner, Log, and Tornado, like, he's not spending that much elixir to get back to that Executioner, especially in double or triple. I don't think that the dual lane pressure is going to work as well, so maybe he's going to have to start concentrating on one side. We'll have to wait and see. He's going directly into an Executioner at night right now. He has a full elixir bar. Maybe he'll go for a Minion Horde and a Miner on the right-hand side. We'll have to wait and see what he does.
Oh, the balloon Minion Horde push for the exit out of cycle. Tornado, Poison, wiping everything out in the bomb tower.
There's got nothing for the Knight, though, Juicy. Look at that Knight.
Yep, Knight on tower, and so is the Miner. And I think that is just about game.
Wow. Clown with a masterclass of Miner Poison, having absolutely no openings right there for Dr. Puerto Rico. Dr. Puerto Rico, let's see what he picks next.
Let's see. Reminder to everyone back at home, this is duels formatting, so whatever you play in the first match cannot be repeated. There are also pre-selected decks as well, so that can shift things up as well here with the deck picking. You see
his main deck. It's here.
Oh, is this the main deck?
This is his main deck. It's Rail Recruits, Skeleton Barrel, Wallbreakers, Dark Goblin with Mighty Miner. And he's going to have Skeleton Barrel and Wallbreakers as the 2 win conditions. He's going to be spamming all the time. Now we get to see him in his true element.
Okay, you talked to me about the Puerto Rico deck, but now talk to me about Clown's deck and how this might be a great matchup for him.
Clown is going to probably be running a Mortar Cycle deck, it looks like, right? He'll either have a Musketeer or an Archer Queen in there, or even a Vol Firecracker. Well, okay, that is what he ran.
Yeah, and then that Valkyrie, though, in that roll delivery, I feel like is going to be so good on defense. And Puerto Rico Nave building this deck allows for those Hog Riders to kind of get easy connections, but it seems like he's a little bit low on elixir, but he does have that Valk delivery on cycle.
Yeah, and also, I got to talk about the perfect placement of Clown. A lot of casual players will drop their Firecracker in the middle to counter Wallbreakers, but dropping it directly down in the center will end up having the Firecracker not miss a single one. So that was super smart. Wait, he's going to have Royal Delivery and arrows. Juicy, I don't know if he's going to have Earthquake. This is
even needed, though. I mean, this is another massive snipe from Clown. This is what a vetted CRO player does. He realized he doesn't need EQ because Puerto Rico doesn't have a building. Instead, he brings the arrows and the roll delivery for massive defense and offensive potential versus all this spam. What a pick from Clown.
And we got to appreciate him splitting the goblins early, too, to be able to counter the wall breakers. Like, he had thought everything through.
Yeah.
But here's the recruits. They're going to start charging.
Yes, they are. Let's see what he's got for the defense. He gets the Valkyrie down. Dark Gob to snipe. Here comes a Skeleton Barrel inbound. Some recruits going to the tower on the right. Wrong with the wall breakers. Roll delivery drops down. Wall breakers not going to get the double connection. Arrows clean up everything. Skelly Barrel does get the hit. And so does the Evo recruits. What a push.
And you got to appreciate the fact that Dr. Puerto Rico is conserving elixir. He was at 10 elixir when that Hog Rider came down. He's not over spamming. This is what happens when you're a one-trick player. You know just how much you can get away with. So he's spamming to the extent that he can get damage, and then he stops, he conserves enough to be able to defend, and then he does it all over again. He's not even trying to get damage with these recruits. He's caring about the next recruits, the evolved ones. That's where he packs his punch.
You know, Goj talked about the rock, paper, scissors element of Clash Royale, but sometimes if you're good enough at a deck, you're able to you're able to throw rock and beat paper anyways, because you're just that good.
That's what we're looking at now. And the Firecracker got eaten alive by goblins and skeletons. You don't see that every day, especially in the face of a Valkyrie protecting it. Recruits will come down any second to keep the Dark Goblin alive. And now, I think Clown's in some serious trouble.
Inferno Tower almost getting no value here. Delivery does drop. Firecracker drops. Evil recruits spamming the bridge. Here comes the wall breakers, the Skelly Barrel on each side. Is this going to be a massive connection on both sides? Here's the wall breakers, and there's the skeletons.
Juicy. The arrows came down, but they still didn't stop the wall breakers. The Inferno Tower is not going to be that good. And Dr. Puerto Rico does have a spell. He's got Fireball. So all he needs to do is cling on and stop the Evolved Firecracker from locking onto the tower, and he's able to Fireball back and win the game. Can he hold on, though?
I love that Mighty Miner at the bridge, blocking that evil Firecracker. It was the only way to come back. The second Fireball comes down of the game, and it finishes it off. And now we're 1-1 in the best of 3. We're going to game 3, ladies and gentlemen. This is a beautiful match of Clash Royale. I'm so excited. I can barely even fathom what I'm looking at right now.
That was some of the best gameplay we've seen all day. From Dr. Puerto Rico, he played that matchup masterfully against someone that presumably had a pretty good matchup, right? So
Yeah.
I'm happy. He might have some confidence going into this match. And maybe even if he's not playing his best deck in the world, after that win, the momentum is surely in his favor.
Absolutely. And maybe the matchup and momentum could be as well. He's got the Evil Knight. He's got the Poison going against Clown with the Dark Prince and Evil Barbs. Maybe some sort of Goblin Giant beatdown deck.
Yeah, the Dark Prince there is going to be interesting because, oh, wait, could it be Sparky Juicy?
It's either Sparky or it's just the Goblin Giant Rage spam deck we've seen. Here comes the Rage. Goblin Giant on tower. Lumberjack trying its best. Puerto Rico solo elixir. This tower's dropping already, tag. Wow, Clown bouncing straight back from that loss in game 2.
And you have to admire the confidence to play a beatdown deck when you're Clown. You're not doing something that you are extremely comfortable with from a control aspect. You're kind of putting the ball in your opponent's court and saying, can you defend this? Let's see. And he just went in, man. With a minute in, he's already taken a tower.
I mean, I don't even know. I guess it was just the play to be aggressive like that with the Poison being out of cycle. But, I mean, that's just a fascinating idea, just a macro idea there. I mean, you talk about the comfortability of playing a cycle deck, but with a beatdown deck, he just threw all his marbles at the bridge, and they ended up rolling in and taking that tower like it was nothing.
So talk to me about this. He's obviously got Ram Rider. What's the key to come back? I think it has to be dropping a Lumberjack, spamming a Heal Spirit, and praying that you can just build up a big push with that Ram Rider getting away from the mini P.E.K.K.A.
Oh, you know, you talk about that big push, and that's what he's able to do here to get that one Ram Rider connection. It looked like scary, but Clown's got that Fireball for the defense. Not only is Fireball so good for those big pushes, but it's so good for stopping the Magic Archers as well.
We see the Evolved Knight cycle to the left-hand side. Maybe he's going to try to do some split lane pressure, but he also has to deal with the minions. He can't just let those go. He's got to go for Magic Archer to clean them up. Forcing out the Barbarians on the other side means that, well, Clown now has his mini P.E.K.K.A. as his only reliable answer to the Ram Rider.
Here comes the Lumberjack, the Heal Spirit, the Barb to try and slide that Ewiz, but the Goblin Giant pushes the Barb enough so the Ewiz is going to survive. He's able to defend. Here comes the Ram Rider. Ewiz still alive, though. Any P.E.K.K.A. dropping on defense. Does he have a Fireball?
Gotta push that away. Fireball comes down on the Magic Archer. The Knight is approaching the tower. The Barbaril is going to get swiftly dealt with by minions. And with 16 seconds remaining, the ball is definitely in Clown's court to screw this one up.
Yeah, I think that Clown's got this unlocked. 5 seconds, going to tick off the timer here. Puerto Rico has given up once again. And Clown with a 2-1 a very nice match of Clash Royale. GG's all around.
You gotta say, the Clown won the circus today. He ended up weathering the storm in the second game where, you know, he got destroyed by someone that played perfectly, and he came back furiously, being able to dominate in the last match. It's impressive.
Impressive and such a fun match to watch. Again, we are being treated to some incredible Clash Royale sets, by the way. So much fun across the board. The beatdown deck, Juicy J, at the end. I mean, I think that first tower went down in game 3 in like 50 seconds or 51 seconds. Incredibly quick beatdown.
I mean, the Dark Prince on the defense, the poison was out of cycle. He said, you know, why not throw Goblin Giant Minions Rage in the bridge? And you know, Bridge Spam, that deck that Puerto Rico is using, it's great for offense. It's not so great for defense. You don't have a building to distract that Goblin Giant, and that tower dropped so fast.
Well, Tag, I was talking about the rock, paper, scissors. I gotta say, game 2 in particular, Juicy J, I love the comment you said. I think you said sometimes rock beats paper. That's exactly what we saw, right? And Tag, I know you were excited about that deck. I guess it lived up to the expectations, yeah?
It lived up to the expectations every time. He was able to protect the Dark Goblin with the recruits, salvaging every important card that he could. Every time he went on offense, it was calculated. He never overcommitted. He still had enough elixir to have that Mighty Miner to finish off the Hog Rider. He retained the card cycle he wanted, and it was just incredibly impressive to see that all work out in quick succession with no misplays. It gave him some confidence in the next game, but it was definitely a bit short-lived after that Goblin Giant steamroll.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Juicy, walk me through a couple of these replays. Of course, you saw the first win, but this was those moments where, well, rock beat paper this time around.
Yeah, Arrow's not coming down in time. The Skeleton Barrel was honestly the MVP, and the last play at the end here, just predicting that Firecracker, not allowing any sort of comeback. Looking at the game 3 replay here, we saw that aggressive Gob Giant at the bridge though, and Clown, you know, not letting the nerves, not letting that loss get to him, and he just goes in and takes his tower within literally the first 50 seconds.
Yeah, a really fun win, and then staved off any advances. And yet again, Dr. Puerto Rico, I think, accepted his fate at the very end here. But let's take a quick look at the stats to see the comparison and damage, of course, on the side of Clown after that victory, especially with that beatdown. That was a lot of fun to watch at the very end. Clown, just perfect prediction, but. Folks, what a fun day of Clash Royale. Let's take a look at the bracket. We're going to head straight into the bracket and see where everybody's at. Because, Juicy J, Tag, we have found our 5th qualifiee, if you will. The 5th player to make it to the Grand Finals to compete against, well, you two. And OJ, of course, and Shane. We've got 3 more to award, or rather 3 more that can be earned. Sugar Frenzy Luminary up next. Now, I know we might be giving away one of you to your watch parties, and I know your chat's excited about that. So, Juicy J, before I send you away, talk to me about this Sugar Frenzy Luminary matchup and maybe who you think could win.
You know, I definitely think Luminary is gonna win, but who I'm rooting for is Sugar Frenzy. I do not want to be playing against Luminary next Saturday at 3 p.m. Central Time. Make sure you guys are here for that tournament. But yeah, I mean, Luminary, like Tag said, one of the best mortar spam players in the world. Every time I play him on ladder, I get demolished. Like, this man is just the GOAT of mortar.
I love it. I love when you guys root for the underdogs so that you don't have to play against the players that maybe are on paper the favorite to win. So exciting. Well, before we head to a short break, I've got to tell you again about the Samsung Galaxy Z Fold 5. We've talked about the 7.6-inch interior screen. It's a large screen, and it enhances your gaming experience. And the Supercell games you're watching now, including here with Clash Royale, are optimized with the screen size to make competing and leisurely playing even that much better. Go check out the Samsung Galaxy Z Fold 5 with the command !Galaxy Z Fold 5, and you can also just head down to the link in the description below. OJ already joining us to show off the device, so you know you want to get your hands on it Folks, what a fun day of Clash Royale and an incredible device to talk about all powering all of this competition. So if you're enjoying it, go check it out. And if you're enjoying the broadcast, make sure you give subscribe to the Samsung channels here down below. Follow, like, all of those good things. We're live on a modicum of different channels, and there's a ton of different channels and social medias to go follow. You can see all of those down below here with Samsung. Stay connected with Samsung. They always have some incredible new products they're offering and some amazing events that they're a part of. Let's take a look at the up next graphic, because guess what? We've got Sugar Frenzy, we've got Luminary up next. You're not going to want to miss this matchup. Will it be the underdog or will it be the on paper favorite? Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back after this very short break.
I are here right now to announce something very exciting. Drum roll, please. Galaxy Battle Superverse program, where the entire Supercell community will come together. First of its kind cross-game event where Supercell universes will collide as creators and players will compete in Brawl Stars, Clash of Clans, and Clash Royale to find out who the best gamer in the Superverse is. The Grand Finals will have a $100,000 prize pool. It would be $100,000 prize.
What's up, guys? We are back. So yeah, those games are pretty fun. What do you guys think? What y'all think? Great commentating. I loved it. Yeah, it's fun. It's one of those things that you don't necessarily expect to happen. Like, I did not expect to see such high level gameplay, especially like, you know, everyone's super nervous all the time whenever they're playing and playing for so much money. It's hard to anticipate that people would play that well. You called Jackson the Golden Knight? Yeah, he's just the Golden Knight. What do you guys think, though, about the game so far? Personally, for me, I'm excited because I didn't know if I was going to enjoy the loser bracket matches. But look, take a look at the games. Luminary versus Sugar Frenzy. Two incredible players. One of them we can learn a lot from recruits, so I can get better at the game. Secondly, the other person is just running like some of the best decks in the game, one of the highest ranked players in the world, always top 10 at the end of the season with Mortar. And then Darian, my friend, I get to like be hyped for. And then the last game is going to be the closest one with the two best like matched players. Two similar skill levels, Adaming Baby Nate. Baby Nate's going to run a lot of Minor Poison. We're going to see good decision making the entire time, so that'll be fun matches. There isn't a single match that I'm not looking forward to, so I'm pretty happy about it. Hey, Jake, been able to drop in your streams, but never had time until now. Games are sick. So many interesting decks and playstyles. Yeah. Get it, fam. Rooting for you next week. Yeah, it should be a fun time. I'm excited to bring my own decks. I'm probably not going to be running meta. So, can't believe Dr. Puerto Rico gave up twice. All right, so truthfully, it's a bad look to give up for sure. But the last game he gave up, it made sense. The first one, I think I would have just played it out for pride, you know? Play it out. See what happens. But yeah, both those games were definitely over. The games that he gave up, they were over. But yeah, I think the first one he could have played out. Other than the sponsor, what do you think about Samsung? So Samsung's just probably a little bit better for pricing and also just a lot of characteristics that I enjoy about this phone in particular. So the Samsung Galaxy series, like having the flip phone that you're able to actually condense and still have the entire proportions be bigger. So when you're actually playing video games like Clash Royale, you have a much wider and larger screen. So it's harder to make misclicks. So from that standpoint, I like it a lot. All of the Samsung devices that I've used, I've never had any problems with. Kind of what I like a little bit more. What's your favorite food? I already said I like sushi the most right now. You moved back to Boston yet? No, I haven't. I'm wondering if I move back to Boston or if I stay in Seattle, and I'll make that decision soon. See what happens. All right. Are you commentating still? Yeah, you're commentating in like 30 seconds, so I got to go back. Guys, thank you for being here. I love y'all, for real. It's been a very fun stream. If you have any suggestions for me to improve this type of stuff in the future, always let me know, all right? I got to make sure that I go back before everyone's ready.
I will attempt to cast.
You will be casting too.
I'll be casting, yes.
Clash Royale Qualifier Finals has been a blast. Let's bring in our casters for the final 3 matchups. We've got OJ back in the booth with us, and of course, Tag hanging out to finish things off. OJ, I know you had a blast on your watch party, my friend. What do you think of the last couple matches?
The one that really stood out to me was when he got counterpicked with Bomber, Fire Spirit, Valkyrie. That was just ridiculous. He just get so absolutely hard countered by the deck that you're good at. Oh, that was my favorite match all day.
True pro behavior, right? Like just perfect counter pick with such a difficult deck to build. Tag, I'll even hand this to you as well. What has been your favorite matchup of the day that you've seen?
The one that was between Air Surfer and Darian, that was by far the best match of the day. The fact that Darian is like one of my best friends. I was rooting for him the entire time. But Air Surfer, he played perfectly, constantly applying pressure the entire time to the point that Darian was forced on the defensive end. Darian had to drop multiple bomb towers. Meanwhile, he was getting minor poisoned out, and they were both around 1,000 health. Darian had matchup, and then it barely went in Air Surfer's favor. I was mystified by the fact that he was able to make that happen, and I thought for sure that Darian had the game on lock. So that was the one that I just had immense respect for Air Surf, and I truly believe he's the best player in the United States after that match. I don't think there's a doubt in my mind after that.
Great call out, and I couldn't agree more. I thought Air Surfer played fantastic, and Darian certainly put up a great fight, but Air Surfer came out on top and has qualified, of course. But lower brick, we've got 3 more matches, gentlemen. Here's my question. This is maybe an open-ended one, OJ. Is there something we haven't seen that you want to see? Maybe a favorite of yours, a piece of the meta that is unexplored here on main broadcast?
We've seen every single evolution played from Royal Giant, Royal Recruits, Mortar, but we haven't seen an Evo Skeleton yet.
Yeah.
I want to see someone get cheesed so hard that the Skeleton trickles onto the Princess Tower, into the King Tower for a 3-crown victory, just in one solid push.
Well, the game is ready. Maybe we'll see it in this one. Tag, OJ, take it away.
Luminari is already going in for an Ice Spirit, so we don't think it's going to be a Mortar deck. It's probably going to be that minor poison.
It's not an evolution
deck.
skeleton.
Yeah, it's unfortunate we don't get to see that immediately. But what direction do you think we're going to go with this Archer Queen deck? It's got to be...
That's just massive cycle. It could be anything at this point.
Probably Evo Knight, right? It could also be Evo Barbs, though. It's going to be one of those. That's typically what we see. Is it gonna be minor poison, or is it gonna be wall breakers? I think that's the deviation that we're looking for.
Okay.
Yeah, OJ, have you? What do you think about the recruits when they start charging? Are they super scary for you?
They're just so intimidating, and the thing about them, if you're a casual player, you get one connection and it's completely over. And the difference with this this competitive scene is that you never see an accidental connection, so it's just really nice to see all these crazy plays right now. Oh, you were right. There's a Barbarian on Luminary's side.
Yeah, he's deciding to go for that just because it's a little bit better if you're playing against a Goblin Giant or a Golem. It just keeps you safe. So he also allows himself to start using the Evolved Knight in other type of situations with other control decks. Because it is one of the strongest
ones. Right at the bridge. That's a spicy one.
Yeah. Do you think that they're going to protect? Oh, wow. Sugar Frenzy is really committed to that.
They're both going in aggressively.
They just keep raising the stakes and refusing to lose the bridge battle. And it seems that Luminari, without using the Archer Queen ability, now has some significant counter push.
Oh, but that's going to take out the shield for that roll delivery there, and it's going to have a charge.
Yeah, it's also interesting. So Sugar Frenzy's main deck is Royal Hogs, Royal Recruits. He's taken a piece of his main deck and deviated it to be a bit different. I wonder if he's going to use his Royal Hogs in a future game, but the wall breakers are his choice as win condition right now. Skeleton King
has a really clean wall breaker defense on there too, and then now he has to deal with the Archer Queen.
Yeah, talking about that, it makes him rush his Royal Recruits right into a bomb tower. Typically, you'd want to drop that a little bit further back so you can build up bigger pushes, but having to drop that directly into bomb tower, that has to hurt the mental.
There's just so much going on in the middle right now with the Skeleton King. And now he has Barbarian Evolution for the next cycle.
You gotta appreciate the consistency of dropping the Mother Witch into like trades where he wants to go and convert skeletons or barbarians that are counter pushing. He's constantly got that Mother Witch value, but 2 wall breakers connect on the right. That's massive, OJ.
Oh my goodness, that's 800 damage on the right side. And now he has Royal Recruits Evolution. But I think Luminary's on the Evil Barbs rotation as well now.
Yeah, and one other thing is we're seeing him constantly be committed to kill that bomb tower, whether it's minoring on it, poisoning on it early. We're dropping skeleton dragons in the middle, so if he eliminates the bomb tower, Luminari doesn't have a great defense. Luminari's sitting there like, okay, I guess I gotta go Archer Queen or drop Evo Barbs, but Evo Barbs are kind of just dying to Mother Witches and then skeleton dragons after.
Royal Recruits are taking out the Archer Queen, so that giant skeleton stays alive. We're gonna see a bit of a counter push now. Think he's gonna make it through the bomb tower?
Yeah, the bomb tower is definitely dead to the wall breakers. And if that was an evolved Royal Recruit on the right, that would be charging. But luckily for Luminari, he can more so ignore it. Beautiful log, cleaning up the Recruit and also the Goblin Gang for a juicy positive elixir trade.
Now he's got the evolved Royal Recruits. Gonna come out with another bomb tower. Miner on the Princess Tower instead of the bomb tower this time.
Ooh, he missed the poison on the bomb tower. I think he was trying to hit an Archer Queen or something, but
yeah, or skeletons or just something inside that proximity of that miner just to maximize the damage.
Missing that bomb tower though might have hurt his chances of getting more damage. So the Skeleton King's coming down with the recruits. 2 recruits getting portioned off on the left, and you see the majority of them still going towards the tower that he's trying to take. Always going for the poisons, predicting the Evo Barbs and catching them.
Well, that's a really value poison right there, getting the barbarians and everything else. He's just going aggressive on the right side right now with the skeleton dragons, the miner. The barbarians, they didn't stop the miner's chip damage. I think this might be it.
Yeah, talking about skeleton dragons damage, they have been relentlessly spammed at the river. Seriously, if you don't have Archer Queen in cycle, how are you supposed to deal with them if you're Luminari?
Oh, that was a clean one.
That was an interesting game too, because if we think about it now, if you're Luminari and you've used your best deck and you now have to play, if you're Sugar Frenzy and you've used your best deck, now you have to find another win against one of the best players in the world when they haven't used theirs. Luminari still has the mortar, so we'll see when that comes out. Sugar Frenzy has already used his top pick. So Tombstone coming out, Sparky already. So Luminari is either showcasing a Graveyard deck or a Lava Hound deck or Royal Giant. And Sparky, well, it's...
there's no way there's no Goblin Giant in here.
Yeah. Oh, do you see that Fisherman? Is that going to reset it, OJ?
Oh my goodness, the Zappies into a Sparky deck. I don't know how I feel about this for Sugar Frenzy.
That's also an incredible interaction. Usually you would think that the Zappies might not fire or reset if you're more of a casual, but Luminari's unlocking these pro-level plays of like, hey, I can make sure the Sparky is stunned for a short bit of time, just enough for my Zappies to stun it again. So stealing the Sparky and stunning it, that was probably one of the best plays I've seen in a while. I would have never thought of that.
That was really precise play there. Just so much, just a testament to how good these players truly are and the micro and the macro level strategies of everything. Like having to count card rotations, elixir, and now we have to consider evolution rotations.
Right on the money, just like you said, the Goblin Giant is plopped down. So the cool thing about Sugar Frenzy's deck is instead of just relying on the Goblin Giant, as you said, now he's got the Evolved Knight and the Goblin Giant for 2 tanks. So, ooh, the Zappies did not get the reset.
Go down. That is devastating. Sparky takes out the Barbarian and the Skeleton King.
And he's getting closer to the Knight Evolution too. He's not even reached this final form of damage. The next push that he's going to make is going to be huge. Fisherman's going to be out of cycle for it too.
It's looking pretty even right now.
It is pretty cool for Luminari to have that Tombstone because it's allowing him to delay these pushes and still afford enough elixir to defend. At the same time, those Tombstone skeletons, each time the Sparky shoots it, the Sparky is getting knocked back a little bit, giving Sugar Frenzy the ability to build up more stuff too. So eventually, they're going to meet in the middle with the biggest pushes that we've seen all game.
These are just massive. Pushes right now. Sparky's still at full health, but he's got Tombstone back on, so that's going to take care of the Sparky for a little while. Well, the Goblin Giant goes in solo, but
It's a constant
I don't know how I
stream.
feel about that Sparky right now.
Yeah, it seems like there's a constant stream of piggies and skeletons distracting the Sparky. Sparky's working overtime, but not accomplishing anything. Electro Wizard comes down to reset the Zappies and also...
That might be it. Electro Wizard onto all of that.
Yeah, the Electro Wizard seemed like it was just to fulfill the Sparky, just to make sure the Sparky could finish it off. He's now getting desperate and rushing to the right-hand side. Do you think anything will come of this, OJ?
With the Zap clearing everything, the Sparky is slowly cleaning up. But Luminari looks like he's in a massive lead right now. He's just in full control the entire time.
Yeah, it seems like he doesn't want to give up momentum. When he's ahead, he's getting the saying of, let's get further and further
Royal
ahead.
Giant? I mean, yeah, but like 3-4 minutes into the game, Sparky's way too far back. That Royal Giant's going to finish it off. That's a clean victory.
You gotta say, when you're playing for $100,000 on the line and your life is on the line if you lose, you're not gonna go for your win condition unless you can guarantee it's gonna take the tower. Because if you mess up once and you spam that RG into a mini P.E.K.K.A. or an Evolved Knight and a Sparky, and then they have that 6 elixir investment to counter push off of, you might be GG. It might be over for you. So Luminari did not decide to take any chances there. Just like Sugar Frenzy going in for arrows on a Fire Spirit for a -3 trade to preserve his tower. Or -2 trade to preserve his tower.
Do you think that Sugar Frenzy has a cycle deck if he's so protective of that Fire Spirit right now?
After seeing the arrows and the Evo Barbs, I don't think he will. Just knowing his play style, seeing recruits, and then seeing Sparky, I don't think he's that type of player. I bet you it's going to be a Lava Hound deck or something of the like.
Oh, and the wall breakers. You needed the fireball for that. That's just devastating amount of damage if they ever connect.
It could end up being the Evo Barbs Royal Hogs deck, much like, you know, Recruits used to be in this deck, and then Recruits got their own evolution. I think that's the route he's going to take, actually. It's going to be Royal Hogs. Switching it up. And Goblin Drill from Luminari. We'll see if there's going to be another another building in Luminari's deck to be able to defend the piggies.
Spear Goblin's got a fair amount of damage there. They're both going in aggressively. Tesla to defend the piglets.
Yeah, smart play for Luminari to be able to have that building. He needs to have adequate defenses because Sugar Frenzy has really shown his play style of running aggressive decks. Zappy's going down on the left-hand side, all in congregation together, a little line leader stuff. But the Evolved Knight is really what we have to take a look at.
Oh, against Evil Barbarians, they're charging up into the right lane. Got Executioner to take care of that, though.
Yeah, so the thing that we're going to have to see is Sugar Frenzy able to use his Fireball to disorient the Executioner, or is he going to try to go opposite lane of it? Because going the same side and not being able to kill it, that is a death sentence for all of his bait cards.
Drill on the right side. Bomb on the left side. That's devastating damage. Luminari looks like he's got a massive lead right now. Knight to defend the Flying Machine and rotate into an Evolution Knight for the next cycle.
The scary thing that I'm looking at for Sugar Frenzy, knowing his deck, he's going to have defensive options that are 4 elixir with the Goblin Cage, 5 elixir with the Evolved Barbarians. He's having to drop all these high-cost cards to go and maneuver and somehow counter wall breakers that are split up, and then also Goblin Drills. So you're in a position where your cards aren't as efficient and they can be maneuvered around. So it's an uphill battle for Sugar Frenzy. He's got to find one good opportunity. He can either get through with the Fly Machine, the Rail Hogs, or the Evo Barbs. Those are his 3 win conditions, and he has to make something happen. I bet you he's going to have to eat damage to even try to, though.
Although those are really value arrows on there, but that's a lot of damage in the tower on the bottom left there. Piglets, I don't think they're really going to deal that much damage. Like you said, with the Fireball, it's going to offset the Executioner, but it's not quite enough. Fly Machine does connect, but Luminari has way more tower lead on the bottom left.
Yeah, the Goblin Cage
Did he
is brilliant.
just predict the wall breakers?
He did. Brilliant stuff. Like, this guy is thinking multiple steps ahead. He's playing for his life on the line. He doesn't want to go down easy. You got to respect the grind from him. He's really hustling for that type of outplay potential.
This is
Fireball
again on the Executioner. That Flying Machine. Piglet's not split this time. They're all going to go towards a Tesla.
running away from responsibility in the right-hand side. He's trying to switch it up and go in the left. As I said before, he really doesn't want arrows on wall breakers or goblin from the goblin the goblin drill. He doesn't want to take those trades because if you're going for those arrows, then you're really forfeiting any counter push too. So he's trying to defend with units. So it's getting sketchy for him because he's just at a very limited amount of elixir each time. The Executioner is going to be able to give a formidable counter push, and he's digging himself into a deeper hole. But the Executioner is running away from the flying machine.
Oh, that forced him to use Spear Goblins on there. But that's not bad because now he has to deal with the drill and everything else.
Heal Spirit's coming down, but it can't heal the tower, OJ. It's at 23 HP, and all he has to do is NATO.
Right there.
Oh, brutal.
Looks like we got Luminary moving on to the finals for the Superverse.
And you gotta respect Luminary not even using his mortar once. The fact that he was able to manufacture a 2-win comeback after being down, so impressive.
What a fun way to re-emphasize your point you made, SirTag, right? Like, you don't have to use your main deck to win, and sometimes even just the threat of the main deck will make your opponents choose something different when they're trying to counter you. So, fun to watch and fun to look back on. OJ, walk me through some of these replays. Game 1, pretty strong miners both sides, but miner poison for Sugar Frenzy. It was just the relentless Skelly Drags at the end that closed it out.
That was a really clean push on this replay here. The Royal Recruits were just connecting the wall breakers here. That was a really big deal. Just all that damage, that poison, everything going on. That was the major damage dealer for this game.
Yeah, there's that Skelly Drag at the end, and then Tag, take me through the rest of these. You know, our game 2 was a fun one to watch, made things pretty interesting, but we saw this Royal Giant at the very end to win it here for Sugar Frenzy. What a way to push it to game 3.
You guys got to see top-tier professional gameplay when everything's on the line. Luminary took no chances. In that Royal Giant match, he decided, hey, I'm going to play as safe as possible. And then in the second match, he decided to play even safer with an Executioner Tornado and a Tesla for stellar defense the entire way through. The best thing that we got to say about Luminary is how he masterfully maneuvered around with cheap cards that Sugar Frenzy just couldn't keep up with. When you've got high-cost cards and you're expected to defend against wall breakers, goblin drills, and the opponent even spamming spear goblins, you're going to take negative trades or you're gradually going to get enough paper cuts that you're just not going to be able to recover. And that's what happened. Despite Luminary just playing not as well the first game as Sugar Frenzy, he came back and he had the mental resilience to play perfectly in the last 2 matches.
Yeah, great breakdown. I love that. Let's take a look back at the decks, and it was Luminary, like you said, that won that game 2 and then 3 to win it all. But OJ, walk me through our first deck picks here.
I think Tag would be more equipped for this one. Mine is still fixated on the Royal Giant play on the second one.
Okay, sounds good. Tag, quick walkthrough of our game 1 decks. OJ's got the second.
So Luminary chose Bomb Tower because he knew that was going to be safe against Sugar Frenzy's recruits. It still wasn't enough. When Luminary ended up trying to defend with the recruits, he ended up having situations where he had only an Archer Queen to counter the Skeleton Dragons. Unfortunately, Archer Queen costs 5 elixir, and sometimes it's not going to be in cycle because you can only get one of them on the map at the time. So Sugar Frenzy manipulated the card cycle, found opportunities to go for Skeleton Dragons after diminishing Luminary's bank of reserve of his elixir. So then, hey, you're dropping a Bomb Tower in defense, now you have 0 elixir, and guess what? There's Skeleton Dragons on your doorstep. Skeleton Dragons lock onto the tower, the Minor Poison clutches up the game, and it was really smart gameplay from Sugar Frenzy.
I love that. Let's take a look at game 2. And OJ, the Royal Giant at like, what, 4 minutes or a little after 4 minutes into the game. Walk me through it.
It was really solid. Sugar Frenzy had everything to address the Royal Giant. He had the Sparky, he had the Mini P.E.K.K.A, and just so much going on. And Luminary didn't use the Royal Giant, despite it being an evolution card. He held it for 4 minutes as his 8th card that he didn't release even once. Just being really patient with Tombstone, holding that Sparky back, just not letting it connect at all, just being completely patient, getting some trickle damage. He just needed to defend at one point, but once he saw an opening with the Sparky in the very back, that's when he knew Royal Giant, Bridge, that's going to finish off the tower.
Yeah, I love that. And Tag, to finish it off here, game 3, I mean, it really did feel like Sugar Frenzy was just running into an elixir problem.
He was running into an Elixir problem because the defense of Tornado to activate King Tower against the pigs, the Tesla that can snipe the fly machine if it's needed to, also the Executioner for absurd splash damage from a distance, be able to crush the pigs, the Zappies, and also the Evo Barbs. There just wasn't enough efficiency in Sugar Frenzy's deck when you're playing against someone like Luminari that isn't going to give you openings. So if Luminari messed up and he dropped like too much spam directly into Evo Barbs at the river at a mistake, then, you know, it could have been possible for him to win, but it's just, there was no opening.
Yeah, I mean, there's so, small room for error in competition like this, right? Like, these are some of the top players all over the U.S. I mean, some of the best players, period, right? Very, very strong players, and they're showcasing that on main stage, not only with their counter picks and everything like that, but just the micro of being able to play those small moments perfectly to close out victories. Very fun one to watch. Yet again, seeing some of the best Clash Royale has to offer. I love it, but it's time to look at the bracket. The lower bracket is here, and Luminary has booked their ticket to the Grand Finals a week away, 3 p.m. Central Time, September 30th. You're not going to want to miss it. 6 out of 8 players has closed it out. We have 2 more matchups, gentlemen. And OJ, Darian, back on main stage against Future this time. What are your thoughts on this matchup?
I think it's going to be an interesting matchup. Darian might be able to carry this. You know, Tag did say that he wants him to pull through for this, so I'm going to go with Darian.
Okay, I like it. Tag, you're gonna continue to push for Darian going into this one, considering y'all are friends?
Yeah, and I have some inside info. Darian is actually getting coached right now by Alan, so we saw Alan play earlier. It seems like there's camaraderie between the players. It's nice.
That's so interesting. So the coach is still involved. I like that. I was cheering for our coach the whole time, and they can live vicariously through their player. Coach is honestly extremely important for a game like Clash Royale, right? For those picks. So that'll be fun to watch to see if maybe that coach buff can come through and Darian grabs the victory. But I'm surprised you're neither of you are rooting for the underdog here, because do you want to go against Darian, OJ? Is that kind of the idea? You're like,
it's fine. But I love that prospect, how Alan is still a winner. He's living vicariously through everyone else.
Look, Alan never goes down. But hey, Tag, take it away. Game is ready. Alan, whoever, it doesn't matter. Game is ready to go. Let's see this matchup and see if potentially Darian and Coach Alan can take this one.
You gotta be excited if you're Darian after almost beating the best player in the United States, Air Surfer. So we'll see how this happens for Darian. Future, I actually haven't seen much from him.
What do you think Darian is playing right now? Without any cards played, can you predict it?
I bet you it's gonna be a cycle deck. I think it will likely be something with either. Oh no, I'm very wrong. That's a rage. That means it's either gonna be like a giant deck or a Sparky deck. We'll see Sparky from him in future, showing Goblin Cage, potentially Royal Giant or Royal Recruits or something of the like. Oh wow, really Lava
immediately right off the bat.
No way.
Oh, it's a Sparky deck.
Yeah, it is. Or it's going to be the Evil Barbs deck, but this is pretty interesting for Darian because he is doing a really rambunctious trade. He has to defend against the Skeleton Dragon and the Inferno Dragon. It is going to get procrastinated for a while because he's able to delay it, but how's he going to stop this?
Knight to defend one Skeleton Dragon and one Inferno Dragon. This is not looking too good for Darian.
I assume Darian has another small spell to clean up the lava pups, but the balloon is going to be a huge problem.
Oh my goodness! Balloon on the other lane, and then there's an Inferno Dragon connected to his tower. I think it's going to take out the right tower.
But the good thing is, OJ, that the tower on the right is 200 HP. It's in shambles. So if Darian is somehow able to take the tower on the left, he's in it's essentially a 1-1 or even situation. But I don't know if that's even a possibility. You might have to be going towards the 3 crown here.
There's the Sparky we were waiting for.
Yeah, but right into a Goblin Cage, Inferno Dragon, Zap,
probably Barbarians as well.
Yes, yeah, it's scary because you got the Zap to reset the Sparky, you got the double air cards, and we don't want to repeat the same movie that we just saw.
Right as the Sparky crosses the bridge, we're probably going to see some Barbarians surround right there.
Yeah, And he's got to blast down that Lob Hound fast enough so then he can get arrows and get some pigs to tank for the Inferno Dragon. But the Barbarians are looking like they're going to lock right on the Mother Witch soon. Goes in for a Goblin Giant just to tank, but then Pekka does snag the tower on the right. But OJ, this balloon is going to be a problem.
With the death damage of that, it's going to bring it down really low. Oh my goodness, the Knight wasn't placed early enough, so the Inferno Dragon finished it off.
It's all good. It's evolved. It's just going to run away. The Inferno Dragon's just tickling it. No big deal.
20 seconds left. I don't think Sparky even has enough DPS to finish off the tower, even if it connected.
Yeah, this is looking really rough, but you can see that Darian has a heart of a warrior. This guy is not giving up. He's going to try until the last second, and he will not let himself get 3 crowned.
At this point, they're probably figuring out what decks do they pick next, because they're probably going to have to face some cycle decks, wall breakers, and they're just formulating which picks.
That's actually a really good point. If the game's over, you might just want to prolong it a little bit longer, just so you have a little bit more time to select your deck, just because, as you can see, it's instantly into the next game.
Wow, they already knew.
So Darian has showcased arrows. We'll have to wait and see if Future wants to maybe run like a Dark Goblin or an Evolved Firecracker, cards that he can really get more value out of if Darian doesn't get to use that spell. See Heal Spirit though, so I wonder what Darian's going to choose. That's an interesting card when you don't have Goblin Giant or Sparky available, unless you're running Sparky with Giant.
I'm going to go on a whim and say 3 Musketeers.
That would be one of the coolest picks.
We haven't seen that all day today. I think that'd be really interesting just for fun.
Zappies and Barbril, either going to be RG Graveyard or potentially Recruits again. Lumberjack and Heal Spirit. Darian's coming out with the spice, man. This is wacky. I love it, though. Skeleton King. So still going to go for the Graveyard or the RG route. Monk coming down with the Firecracker.
Standoff. And how the Zappies aren't affected by the Monk's reflection. This is looking kind of spicy right now.
It's nice to see the Monk constantly knock back the RG to prevent some damage there. But it seems like to me Darian's going to be running Ram Rider, or he's going to be running a Royal Hogs deck. But it's probably going to be Ram Rider here. Fireball comes down on the Mother Witch. The Inferno Dragon's locked on, OJ.
Oh my, that was quick. I didn't even see what went on. The Monk died with the ability activated. The King Tower is activated. There was so much going on, and then the tower's already done.
That's what happens when you let an Inferno Dragon lock on. There are a few things that are annoying in Clash Royale. Expo and Inferno Dragons are top 2, though. Those things are massive menaces. Darian knows how to tilt his opponent, and I think he's already getting it inside his head, because taking a tower before double elixir is a pretty dominant move.
There is an Evolved Royal Giant now, though.
Yeah, the Evolved Royal Giant will get slowed down by the Ram Rider, and the Lumberjack is not getting knocked back for a while. So each time the Royal Giant attacks, it knocks back the cards around it. And obviously, if it's not attacking, then the Lumberjack's going to be able to get as much damage as it needs. So
that was a beautiful Ram Rider usage, just to slow it down enough that the Evolution Royal Giant wasn't even evolved. Now we're going for a massive push. Mother Witch goes down, Inferno Dragon connects again? Yeah. Oh my goodness!
I don't know if you saw, but one of the derpiest interactions was how the Mother Witch turned herself into a pig. The 3 crown comes down and Darian bounced
the
back.
Monk's reflection, I love those.
Yeah, it's gotta be.
I completely missed that.
Yeah, it died to a fireball, but the effect of the Monk is able to reflect the effect of the Mother Witch directly back at it. So it's fun to be able to do that. So right now, even game, Darian ends up coming away with a 3 crown and takes everything back. So Ice Spear from Darian and Log. This is the direction I thought he was going to go at game 1, but he saved it to the very end. Fast cycle deck, his comfort zone. Future also running an evolved Knight deck with Poison, so they might be running something similar.
Oh yeah, they pull out really fast cycle decks for the finale for this.
One cool thing to process is the Archer Queen will die to a Poison plus Log, but the Executioner will not. So Darian is in a situation where he's going to want to Poison and Log on the Executioner, but at the same time, he's going to have to spend more Elixir on the card too. Oh, that axe was dangerously close to the tower. Is playing with my heart.
About that too.
But the cool thing that we're noticing from Darian is he's using a Royal Delivery on defense against the Executioner. What will happen is if you're dropping a Knight, and their opponent's got Executioner Tornado, they'll Tornado the Knight right next to the tower, and then the Executioner will start slapping the tower too. So really smart strategy from Darian. I think the coaching is paying off with the deck pick here.
Was there a reason why he played the Archer Queen so far up on the tower? Or in the bridge?
Doesn't want it to get poisoned. It's really, really scary to get it poisoned plus logged, because that's effectively a few hundred damage for free that the opponent can do for just like a -1 trade, because the Archer Queen's 5 elixir, your poison logs for 6, and you get damage on the tower. You'll take that all day because you can't get damage anywhere else in this game. It's going to be minor poison damage. So if your opponent can't really punish you that hard besides throwing a miner at the tower, they're going to try to spell cycle you as much as you can. So that's
that makes a lot of sense. And then Future's on his Evolved Knight now.
Yeah. Evolved Knight. What? Gonna try and make a big push. Is that Inferno Tower? OJ,
No,
look at that
no
outplay.
Evolution?
Oh my gosh. That was actually disgusting. The Inferno Tower melted the Evolution and the Miner for a +1 trade and wiping the floor with the most problematic card that Future had.
Roll Recruit there, tanking for the Executioner, but it's still not enough because Future has a Tornado.
That Executioner locked onto the tower, and now the Knight is causing some severe grief. It doesn't get the last shot. Darian is having to make a comeback now. The game completely flipped favors. Darian looked like it had it locked up, but that Executioner locking onto the tower completely unlocked Future's potential. So now with the poison, it's anyone's game. OJ, what are you thinking? The Ice Spirit is going to die to the Miner.
It's a massive tug-of-war right now. One push gets a little bit damaged, then they counter push, and that push gets a little bit of damage. This could be anyone's game just from one slight slip-up.
I gotta say, that Ice Spirit dying to the Miner never happens unless the poison's down there at that exact time. That is a key moment in the game. Darian readjusting, making sure that the Ice Spirit doesn't get one-tapped so it can freeze and redirect the Miner is big. The Miner is not getting caught, but the Evo Knight is also coming down on the right-hand side, and it's getting dangerously close to Darian's tower. All he needs is a poison.
That is
and
one
Future
poison
wins.
away. Darian's got to go for a massive push right now, or there's nothing that's going to happen.
Darian's got to teleport an Evolved Miner on the tower.
Yeah.
Oh no. Oh, such a close game. I gotta say, that Executioner damage with the Evolved Knight coming through, I thought that there was nothing for Future to do, but he somehow got the Executioner lined up on the tower, paved a pathway for the Knight, and stole so much damage back to bounce him back in the game.
Tag, your boy, he doesn't make it. Future goes big in game 3. Unreal. Again, another game 3. Juicy J's on his watch party, but I gotta give a shout out to, well, he was wrong. I asked which games are going to game 3, and he was like, maybe one. 3 in a row have gone to game 3. This has been so tight across the board, and huge congratulations, of course, to Future. I mean, OJ, what do you think about that matchup? Because at the end, like, a war of attrition is what I would call game 3, right? Everybody just chipping around the right side, but getting down to 100 to be able to poison to finish was just, it hurt the soul for Darian.
That was such a close matchup. They both had minor cycle, poison, but like Tag said, that one slight interaction where that tick of poison killed the Ice Spirit was just monumental for that.
Yeah, Tag, walk me through the replays from game 1 into game 2 and what you saw.
So game 1, Darian went in for a push at the start directly into an Inferno Dragon, Skeleton Dragons, and wasn't able to recover. Once you dedicate that amount of elixir at the start into something that your opponent's able to counter push, and then you have to deal with their cards afterward, and you don't have the right amount of anti-air, you're gonna get steamrolled. So it just didn't go in Darian's favor, and Future built an amazing counter push off of an opportunity that presented itself.
Yeah,
And-
really the unsung hero here, or maybe sung hero, the Inferno Dragons locking on was massive, OJ.
That was massive for this game where Inferno Dragon locked onto both towers.
Yeah, a quick 3 crown, and this tag was where I thought that Darian just had it in the bag, because that was such a dominating performance in game 2 that I thought game 3 had the momentum to potentially win it here, but a war of attrition, and here are those final moments, Tag.
Yeah, so just talking about those last couple moments, the Ice Spirit dying, but most importantly, the Executioner and Knight getting the damage that they did earlier. Darian had a dominant display. He had everything lined up, but that Executioner connection is what cost him everything. And when you're down in a minor poison matchup and you're at a 300 or 400 damage deficit and you're both running the same thing, the game is completely locked up for Future then. There's no
And again,
coming back.
Exactly. Quick look at the stats here, and again, because of that 3 crown, of course, Darian had a ton of average tower damage, but obviously didn't win. Let's take a look at the bracket, gentlemen, because, well, one more to go. Congratulations again to Future. You have qualified for the grand final September 30th, 3 p.m. Central Time. You're not going to want to miss that live show. It's going to be a blast, but there is one more matchup. One more player is going to join the ranks of the other 7 to make the grand finals. It's going to be Katori versus Adam. OJ, one more match, Katori versus Adam. We're going straight into predictions because this is it. This is the final matchup. What do you think?
Katori's gonna win. I'm putting all my money on it.
Okay, we won't count that money, but I like it. Predictions, they've been decent today, so I trust you on that. I know Katori is a storied player. I think I'm probably on the same page. Tag, are we going for the underdog on this one, though? I mean, the underdogs come out on top at least one other time, and we've gotten to game 3 almost every single time. What are you thinking?
I think we're going to game 3, but I do think that Katori, aka Baby Nate's Minor Poison, it's too strong. It scares me. I don't want to play against him, but I think I will play against him later on in the next stages. So wall
Seeing
breakers.
a lot of wall breakers in these matchups. He's not able to defend that 2 elixir split push. It's just so devastating.
Yeah, especially when you drop 5 elixir and you can't counter 2. It's not a good feeling. However, Baby Nate, Katori going in for that Inferno Tower, that thing doesn't counter push and swiftly evaded with the miner off to the side. So both of them not doing the trades that they would like to take. Looking at that Magic Archer locking onto the tower too, that is not what Adam envisioned. Adam is 100% running something that Baby Nate or anyone didn't expect. Like, when you see a monk, you're probably going to be expecting something like Royal Giant, but there's a balloon, a flying machine, minions. This is some extravagantly cool stuff. Baby Nate misses the tornado, doesn't get the pull.
Doesn't activate the king.
Oh, man.
That being said, he does have Inferno Drag or Inferno Tower into Balloon and Monk, so Katori looks like he might have a bit more control right now.
Yeah, talking about some extra layers of defense, if you absolutely need to, you can go for an Inferno Tower, and then you can pull the balloon even further with a Goblin Drill. It's probably not going to happen, but there is a possibility. The only issue that we have here is that flying machine protected by the Monk. If Adam plays it well, he might be able to keep that flying machine alive for a while. The King Tower activation comes through with the Tornado, and that is a really big play for Katori, being able to make sure that now he can finish off monks a little bit easier. The miners in the back, they're not going to get as much damage. Maybe he can start to ignore them more.
It's almost like Katori knows that he only has expensive cards right now, so he's putting Spear Goblins on the bridge, splitting the wall breakers and everything, pulling them with the wall breakers.
Wow.
I think one might connect right here.
We got to talk about that high IQ fireball, forcing a situation where Katori was having to drop that knight so he could get even more value. It was already guaranteed that he was going to clutch up and hit a Magic Archer, but he wanted more. He got 7 worth of elixir with a 4 elixir card and hit the tower. Big brain play from Adam. And now he's going in through with his push again, trying to body block.
Prediction minions for that, though.
Yeah. And prediction minions come up clutch. Wait, is the balloon getting pushed slightly to the right? He tried to with the fly machine.
Almost.
If you saw that. And again,
That would have been devastating if he was able to push that balloon away from that Inferno Tower.
yeah, this is
But
what
with
he's
the
going
Evolution
for.
Knight tanking for the flying machine, this is going to be a deadly push. The Goblins push the Knight forward, forcing him to play the Barbarians a little bit earlier than he would have liked to.
Oh, OJ, the Magic Archer's on the tower.
More!
He just needs to go in for a Goblin Drill, but when he goes in for a Goblin Drill, he can Tornado away the counter and make sure that the Goblins lock directly on the tower, but he's going to go Wall Breakers instead. Doesn't even care. The disrespect from Katori going in for all-out offense. You love to see it. Wow. We got to say, that type of defensive deck, it is scary to match into when someone has the defensive capabilities and mechanics that Katori has.
It's just so devastating. Just from that single 2 elixir wall breaker card, and you only have 5 elixir cards to counter that.
Gotta be that Minor Poison deck with Archer Queen and Log. So the rest of the cards in Katori's deck are to be Minor Poison, Bomb Tower, and Log here. So we'll see if Adam is going to be able to come up with something crazy to be able to break through that. If he goes directly into a Bomb Tower with the Valkyrie and a Hog Rider, he's going to have some problems because Earthquake can't break through. Maybe he's going to have Lightning. Maybe he's going to have something a little bit more mischievous with the freeze. Hopefully we can see some spice here from Adam.
I just love your clairvoyance. Plays an Ice Spirit, you immediately know that he has a poison for everything. I'm just so stuck on challenges that I can't recognize it from 1 or 2 cards.
Oh, it's all good. I mean, it's just it's a meta deck. Once you played enough, it's just pattern recognition at that point. But the King Tower activation is going to come down with the Archer Queen. The Hog Rider doesn't get the hit. And now we're going to see some counter push with maybe a Miner in the back. We'll have to wait and see if he wants to pop the abilities soon.
Oh, right on the skeletons too. And the snowball. That's going to completely stop the Archer Queen from getting any hits.
Oh, OJ, the curse! The curse!
My words. It's the curse. It actually is the curse.
Skeletons coming down. Wait, OJ, I think he has to respond to these skeletons if the Valkyrie can't kill the Miner in time. Oh my gosh.
Just barely. Just barely. And he placed the Miner in the top left of that Princess Tower. He might have gotten 1 skeleton hit.
Yeah, okay, so Evo Barb's coming down, but the Firecracker is able to splash on them, so we'll see if Adam is able to cycle to some Evolved Firecrackers. The way Adam wins this is getting some juicy Evolved Firecrackers connected to the tower. And so far, he got a great trade with that Firecracker against the Evolved Barbarians. A regular 3 Elixir card, eating alive a 5 Elixir Evolution. I'll take that trade any day of the week.
This time going in with bats instead of a snowball, so he can kind of just put a Valkyrie in there, but Valkyrie might have been a little bit slower than he would have liked because it didn't tank for the bats.
One thing that we have to witness, though, is the fact that the Hog Rider is on the tower, and then the Firecracker Evolution. This is what I was talking about, OJ.
Oh my goodness. Even though there's a nerf, that's still devastating amount of damage.
It was close to getting that extra one there, too. It was loading up.
Very
barely
close.
died of the poison. You got to appreciate the mastermind of knowing that, hey, I have to poison. It's not something I want to do, but this is a play I'm forced into. Man, the Miner coming down on defense also prevents Baby Nate from being able to go in for an offensive play for a while. Adam has completely swung the game in his favor. Baby Nate now is starting to rely more on poisons, trying to go in the same side, and keeping that Archer Queen alive as long as he can so he can cycle more Miners.
Archer Queen with the ability locked on to the Valkyrie.
Did you see that? He got away with defending with an Ice Spirit Skeletons and tried to log so the Hog Rider didn't get a single hit. He wasted 2 Elixir with the log, but that was really smart. He had the animation of the Earthquake still on the field and still perfectly timed the Skeletons so the Skeletons didn't get hit. That's some top tier mechanics.
With the King Tower activation, the Hog Rider is going to have a bit of trouble, but the Firecracker just connecting, it's a little devastating right now. It's very close. Qatari could still win this.
The biggest thing right now that I'm looking at is Adam really wanted to have that Evolved Firecracker up close and personal at the river and not getting poisoned. He's going to have to wait a while to get back to that evolution, and that's going to cost him. One thing that we are also noticing is if you see the Valkyrie, it's slightly separated from the Hog Rider, so then he's giving himself more of a leeway, so then the Bomb Tower, if it comes down, it's not going to immediately splash on the Hog and the Valk.
Looks like he's putting a lot of his Miner in the back right now. So if Qatari's going to mix that up a little bit, put it in a little more dangerous zone, maybe even in the middle center where it hits both towers.
Yeah,
Qatari is getting a damage comeback slowly.
the thing for Qatari is he does more damage over time. Each one of his cards, his Miner and Poison, it does way more than an Earthquake Snowball. So if his Poison's doing like around 300 with the log, and this Earthquake's doing around 200 with the Snowball, eventually it's going to come back.
He put down Skeletons in the dangerous spot, thinking Qatari was going to do the high-risk spot, but he didn't. It's all mind games at this point.
Yeah, he's trying to catch the Miner, but the Poison and Log are unavoidable. You can't reflect back that damage, and it's all closed out for Qatari.
2-0 win, and we see Qatari moving in as one of the 8 finalists for the Galaxy Battle Superverse for today.
Showing his prowess as one of the best Miner Poison players in the entire world.
It was quite obvious he's one of the best Miner Poison players in the world, right? Like, I feel like Adam had a huge advantage going into the second game, really battled back to, like, take away the second game going into overtime, and then the Miner Poison just chip. All of a sudden, they're even. All of a sudden, we're within that 300-point margin. One more Poison, done and dusted. Qatari wins it all in an amazing fashion. The only 2-game win, by the way, in the lower bracket, which is something to be said about the competition we saw today. So congratulations to Katori. We have officially crowned our 8 players that are going to be making it to the grand finals, which is so fun. A great day of Clash Royale, but we got to look back on some of those replays from this last matchup and see why Katori was so dominant. Tag, let's start with you here, starting with these replays in the first matchup. What'd you see?
One of the biggest plays all game was Adam's decision right there to be able to make sure, hey, I'm going to have Evolve Barbarians on your tower. You need to protect that. And then forcing out the Fireball, hitting 7 worth of Elixir, but it still wasn't enough. Katori had built a defensive deck that Adam just could not break through with multiple layers to stop the balloon. And then in the next game, we ended up seeing Katori just going to his favorite, Minor Poison. He ended up taking a ton of damage from the Evolve Firecracker early on from a masterful play from Adam. But as we saw later on, Adam wasn't able to get that next Firecracker that he needed near the river. That Firecracker had to hit the tower for Adam to make that final nail in the coffin to get that win and push to game 3. But Katori was able to poison it, just sealing Adam's fate. Slowly but surely, having the best mechanics in the game as Minor Poison, you are going to be able to take that tower.
Great breakdown, Tag. Let's take a look at our bracket. Starting in the lower bracket, we have officially found our 8 players. The 4 from the lower bracket, you had to win 2 before you lost 2, and these players won 2 after only losing 1. Clown, Luminary, Future, Katori, we'll see you in the grand finals. Only a week away, September 30th. 3 p.m. Central Time. But back to the upper bracket, some amazing matches from above, and these players, well, they were near perfect. Ian77 and Air Surfer as expected, Cheesecake joining them as well, and Droy. And I gotta say, OJ, you shouted Droy out at the very beginning of the broadcast and seemingly delivered.
I'm 1 for 1 for my predictions.
Yeah, true. Very beginning, called it out and didn't lose a single matchup. What a fun day of Clash Royale. Gentlemen, I'm going to give you a second here just to give you give your final thoughts for the broadcast and shout yourselves out. Tag, I'll start with you. Any final thoughts before we close this thing out?
I did not expect so many close, high-action games. Lots of mind games throughout, and of course, the mechanics. There's so much to learn from. You guys can break down each one of those interactions, seeing how were they able to outcycle and outpace opponents. What was the mind games of like the deck selection? Just so much to appreciate. So huge thank you to all the players, and it was a pleasure to watch.
OJ, same for you. Final thoughts for the broadcast before I send this thing away.
It's crazy to see so many high-level players with so many specialties in all these decks. It's going to be even more exciting on the 30th when we see the finals, when all 3 games clash together. I'm genuinely so excited for that. I think this is going to be one of the funnest tournaments that I've ever participated in my entire life.
The Superverse right around the corner. Well, the Superverse is here, but the grand finals right around the corner. Gentlemen, thank you so much for joining me in the booth. I'm sure you had a blast on your watch parties, but you had fantastic casting as well. I will bid you farewell. And of course, huge shout out to Juicy J and Shane as well. Amazing cast and amazing watch parties casters. They're incredible. And folks, if you want to tune into the grand finals, September 30th, 3 p.m. Central Time, you'll see those creators not cast, but compete. You're going to see them compete not only in their title of choice, their Supercell game of choice, but also in the other Supercell titles. It is the Superverse after all. Let's take a look at that schedule because yes, September 30th, 3 p.m. Central Time. You can't forget it. I've said it enough. There's no way you won't be there. All the same social media platforms, all the same live stream locations, just a little bit earlier. 3 p.m. Central Time, September 30th. You will not want to miss it. $100,000 on the line. What a fun way to finish off all the qualifiers. We saw Clash of Clans, we saw Brawl Stars, and then Clash Royale really finish things off in the best way possible. But folks, this is all made possible by the Samsung Galaxy Z Fold 5. I've talked about the foldableness of the Samsung Galaxy Z Fold 5, but I've also talked about that amazing 7.6-inch interior screen. But did you know that precision meets portability with S Pen capability on the Samsung Galaxy Z Fold 5. Have you seen those S Pens? They're incredible, and especially with the 7.6-inch screen, you can write directly on the Samsung Galaxy Z Fold 5, and there's a case you can go get with the Model Slim S Pen case, where the pin actually insets on the back. It is very, very cool. You want to go check that out. You can check it out with the command Galaxy Z Fold 5. You can also just head to the link in the description below. And I've been talking about Samsung Galaxy all day because they have a modicum of different products. And the Samsung Galaxy Tab S9 Plus is the other one we've been mentioning. Obviously, it's amazing, has an incredible screen, but your video chat game will also be next level with the high resolution ultra wide front camera. You're going to feel even closer with the ultra crisp 12.4-inch display 3 featuring vision boosters. This thing's nuts. You gotta go check it out. Galaxy Tab S9 is the command for that one. Go check it out. A quick link will pop up in the chat, or head down to the link in the description below. Samsung Galaxy has made this all possible, and we thank them for it. But folks, one more show, 1 week away. I'll tell you one more time, September 30th, 3 p.m. Central Time. I'll be your host for that show, and I might be joined by some very special people you saw in some of those ad break contents. You're not going to want to miss it. But until then, stay safe, take care of yourselves, and get ready for the next one. And we will see you 1 week from now. Thanks for tuning in. Looking forward to the next show. See you there.
Thank you guys for being here. A lot of fun. Also, a huge shout out to Samsung. A lot of fun. Hell yeah. We're good, guys. I'll see y'all all later. Thank you guys for the streams. Thank you for being here. Huge shout out to Samsung Galaxy for making this all possible. Of course, I want to be doing more of this in the future. I'm really excited for the grand finals on September 30th. So make sure to tune in then, guys, if you're a part of the action. Check out the Samsung Galaxy Z Fold 5 using the link in the description of the video or in the pinned comment. The screen is one of the biggest phones you'll ever see, and the portability is nice because you can flip it and condense it. So I'll see you guys later. I hope you all have an amazing rest of your day. One of the best things about the Samsung Galaxy was the massive 7.6 interior screen, and then the fact that I can literally run 3 different apps at the same time. So that's the reasons that I like it. There's a lot of different other talking points and things that I could say, but just want to let you guys know the things that I like about it. Anyway, I'm hyped. It was a lot of fun, lots of good matches, and we get to play against Air Surfer and Darian. We got to watch him, but it was nice to see a lot of our friends and learn a lot from the best players in the world. I'll see you guys later. Stay blessed. No matter when you're watching, no matter where you're watching, have an amazing rest of your day. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Like the video or like this if you enjoyed. And yeah, peace out.